Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode number 57 of the Couch on Ice podcast. A few things to talk about this week. We got to talk about, probably going to bring up the also mentioned Vancouver Canucks, who are undefeated under their new coach, a new signing, a guy on waivers, some trade talk, some Tortorella hot takes. But before we get into some hockey news, I'll introduce the boys. So I'll throw it over to Chase. What did you get done or up to, I guess, this past couple days?
Oh, nothing at all. Nothing but sleeping and watching. Oh, wait. Nope. Didn't get to watch hockey yesterday.
Oh, right.
Thanks, guys.
That sucks. I didn't either.
Well, there's no hockey. No games on.
Yeah, that was crazy. How do you just not have a single game last
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they only had one scheduled, which is kind of strange.
very
Usually at least have two.
at least so. But
No,
whatever.
piss all, man. What about you?
Nothing. Honestly, I have been so lazy this week. I felt like garbage all week. Don't know why. Kennedy's super sick now too, and so it's just going around in our place right now. So staying pretty low key.
Good times.
Oh yeah, super dope. Just watch hockey all night if I can, if it's actually on. But what about you, Jordan? What'd you get up to this week? Hopefully you had a more interesting time than we did.
Yeah, you know what I did on the
Oh, thank
weekend.
God.
We went up to Lake Tahoe. It's been snowing up here, so the mountains are covered in snow because obviously it's cold as fuck. So we went up to Lake Tahoe and we had a nice picnic on the lake. It was pretty good. We brought our dog and he had a fucking fantastic time.
Sweet, nice. How is Lake Tahoe? Is that as nice as everyone says?
It's absolutely beautiful. The water is so see-through.
That's awesome.
It's all it all comes off the mountains, right? It's all
Right.
Yeah, dog.
ice, so it's cold usually, but surprisingly it wasn't too cold while we were up there.
So, how long has it been since you've been in Nevada now? Has it been like 3 weeks?
I left on the 19th, so almost a month.
Almost a month. So after your first month, give us some pros and cons of if you were to live there full time where you are.
I mean, Americans suck.
Yeah.
Pieces of shit.
They're kind of ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them can be
dog,
kind of
I was-
assholes.
Yeah, I was
you
literally.
get the bald guys or the buzz cut guys with the fat guys with the full beards that come in, no masks, into the grocery stores. It's awful.
Yeah,
And
man. Like
they're
I was
terrible
gonna.
drivers.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you, like, how nice is it just walking around with people who just have guns on them for unknown reasons? Just, must be settling. Have you seen anybody
pretend
walking
it's
around
not
with a
there.
gun? Yeah, exactly.
I'll
Like,
tell you one thing: I'd rather risk it in Nevada than Chicago or Michigan.
Oh yeah.
I've been to some
yeah.
places there where it's like, oh yikes. I remember my first time going to Chicago. Like, it's kind of crazy. I walked by, and my aunt specifically told me, like, just don't say anything. Like, don't talk to people, whoever it is. They ask you a question, just keep walking. That's what everyone in the U.S. does. Ignore them; they won't bother you. I'm like, okay. I walked by this one car, and I swear I saw a gun in someone's car on their passenger seat, just sitting there.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, okay. So just everyone presumably has one. I guess this is why you don't like talk back to people here in the big cities in the States.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ, it was terrifying.
yeah, like no doubt, man. Like I was thinking about that earlier. Like, what the hell is? Why would
Yeah.
you do this? Like, you're just like, you want to just steal it off them and just throw them on the ground and unload the clip beside their head and be like, how's being American now? Like, what's wrong with you guys? Like, why do you want to do this? But there's too many people or something. I don't know. They probably sold too many guns to everybody a while back, and now they have to.
Yeah, I do
give
want to.
everybody guns.
I do want to say, like, I'm totally like, I'm pro regulated guns, like, completely. Like, I hunt all the time, every year. Like, I go target practicing and stuff. Like,
there's a difference
it's
between
fun.
hunting and having guns.
No, absolutely. But I don't want people to get like crossed in saying that, like, oh well, you're like anti. I'm not. But if you have it under the right circumstances and your license and stuff, I got zero issues. It's the people that don't have licenses where I'm like, probably not a good idea. So No, that I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, like to me, it's just like go like 100% hunting's a thing. Like that's like you can have your hunting rifles and stuff like that, but like guns should not be allowed. Like these are actual like guns. You don't need guns, guys. Guns are made to kill human beings. Like we made these rifles to kill animals and stuff like that. No reality.
That's how I felt living in Winnipeg, right? Like within the first month of being there, the building I was in got fucking shot at.
Yeah, I have an aunt who lives in BC, and I remember them telling us a story that they heard loud noise one night, and they were in a nice part of BC too, and they went outside and like there was a drive-by, and like a whole bunch of cars just had bullet holes in their doors and stuff, so it was like super sketchy. And it was like, and the worst part is, like I said, they were in like a family neighborhood, like it wasn't their kids were there and stuff, so it was super scary stuff. Let's jump on more of a positive train instead. Jordan, what about some of the good things in Nevada that you could live with on a day-to-day?
The absolutely gorgeous view.
Yeah.
And seeing the mountains, especially right now because they're covered in snow and it's not all fucking desert.
And it's not freezing really completely, I bet, too. At least not like here. What is it there? Like, what's the weather there now?
Right now it's a bit cold. It's like minus. It's not too cold. It's like -5, but it's snowing pretty good at the moment.
I wish.
Yeah, sweet.
That's like
sweet.
Perfect snowboarding weather right there.
Exactly.
-5, lots
nice
of snow, fluffy, sticky. Yeah, I love that. That sounds so good. I got some good news this week. At least good news for me. I'm so pumped. I get to go see Spider-Man this week on Friday. The new Spider-Man.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh my god, guys. I am so excited. If you guys know me at all, you will know how much I love all these movies and Marvel and all that such. But, like, I've heard some people talk about it, and they're like, yo, this is the craziest movie ever made. And I'm so pumped up for it. So,
you know what? I love the promotion that Zendaya and Tom Holland have been doing for it.
Oh, yeah.
And they're so great together. So
they're awesome.
I'm really pumped for it, too.
It looks so good. It's so interesting. And, like, they have showed barely anything, and people are still like running out of their seats to get tickets still. So it's just different. The way they marketed it this year is weird as hell. They've done like no marketing they've let the fans do it by like word of mouth because everyone's talking about it.
The most marketing that they did was Tom Holland and I think Zendaya both going to the Ballon d'Or ceremony.
Yeah, that
was the most marketing they did.
Yeah, and they've obviously done some like press, obviously, because they have to. But like it's just like so limited compared to what we're used to, which is just super cool. So I'm super pumped by that. Just can't wait. So next time on the podcast, you're gonna hear my spoiler-free review and what I genuinely think of it, so be prepared for that. But should we get into some hockey news before we get too deep into other random news?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Let's start with some games that I watched this week, and why not start with my favorite game of the week, Pittsburgh versus Washington, and watching the Capitals get worked for 55 minutes straight. That was super entertaining to watch. Jordan, do you have anything you want to say before I dive deeper into this game? Did you watch it? Did you see how your team played that night?
I will say...
It wasn't that bad. I'm making it sound worse. Yes. Samsonov did too. I'm definitely willing to concede that. He looked really, really good. You guys did not have an extra step at all that night. At all. Until like the last 5 minutes when you like scored and were like, oh, we have a chance to actually still be in this game. But no, Pittsburgh just everywhere on the ice. Everywhere. They were faster. They hit more. They're better at forechecking. They cycled really well. They're like you mentioned, Jari being absolutely outstanding.
Well, and what's scary is that there was no Gensel and no Gino.
that's what makes it super impressive. Is Gensel's having another fantastic season, and Malkin is Malkin. Crosby stepped up, and Rust. Keep in mind, we didn't have Rust as well. So we had 3 guys who could make up a first line on a lot of hockey teams. Weren't playing tonight. We absolutely worked you guys. Letang was everywhere. All of our big players showed up. I loved it. But I have an issue as a Penguins fan coming in the near future. By near as in after Christmas-ish. I don't know who's going to be taken out of the team. We have had so many guys overperform and how they're playing. The way Dominic Simone's playing, I don't know why you take him out. I love Drew O'Connor's game so far. Brian Boyle, obviously, is a great story. He's manned that fourth line pretty much all season. So Danton Heinen as well playing well. So it's really tough to see who's going to get squeezed out for all these injuries once Rust, Gensel, and Malkin do come back. So that's about my only fear with Pittsburgh right now. And do you guys have anything to add on that game at all? Other than I've got one other thing because I mention it every time pretty much, but Kapanen is playing awesome. I love the way he's playing right now. He's playing with Crosby. They're starting to gel. He's faster than everyone. He turns on a dime. He's really worked on his shot. I mean, Chase, I know how much you love Kapanen too. So
yeah, no doubt. No, he was one of my breakout players this year, and it looks like he's actually starting to do that now. So that's good. This was a game that they were just raving about this guy. This game, they were just the commentators were just all over him.
Yeah,
sucking on his knob and stuff. But yeah, no, he had a great game. But yeah, to me for this game, like the Capitals are kind of on a down right now. Obviously, they've been playing lights out for the first bit of the season, so they've been just kind of on a down. They just couldn't score. They couldn't make anything. Too. You guys started getting quite a few injuries, and I guess it's now starting to actually hurt you and look like you're injured. So that's always not really a bad thing. I heard Backstrom was put on a line today.
Yeah, so he's
close to return.
I've heard he is set to return for one game before Christmas to see how he feels, and then after that they're gonna reevaluate and see.
Yeah, but other than that, like just couldn't score the first couple periods. Washington was playing good. It's just they couldn't actually capitalize on anything.
They were decent, but Pittsburgh just
Samsonov
enemy this year.
Sorry, what was that?
The Post has been our fucking enemy this year.
It's because you have Anthony Mantha on the team.
He's not even playing.
I know he's not playing, but I swear, I just say that.
Juju.
Man, I saw last year in the playoffs, I talked about this Capitals team. I swear Mantha hit the post 7 times last playoffs. 7 times.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Super good at it.
At least.
30 goal scorer if the net's half-inch bigger.
40 goal scorer if the net's half-inch.
But yeah, just the only last thing on this game was basically Samsonov made an unbelievably good save, and the Capitals did not score right after. And that's why they didn't tie the game.
Yeah,
bring it to overtime. Because they should have. They should have brought this game to overtime. But Samsonov made that huge save, and it took him like another 5 or 10 minutes to score a goal. So it was too late by then. They got one fairly late, but that was just too
enough.
Late. So so
I will say about our goaltending isn't amazing. Like, we don't have an upper echelon goaltender, but both of our goalies are very consistent.
And together they create an upper echelon goaltender. Just because
I'm willing to say Samsonov is going to become that. I don't think he's going to be maybe like Shesterkin level at all, but he's going to be a tier below.
The question I have is if any of these guys are going to like actually take the position, because like they've kind of like played really good, you know.
I think
I don't know.
I've seen a lot of more of Samsung this year that makes me actually confident in their goaltending.
Yeah,
last year
definitely a down year for Sammy.
Yeah, last year watching, I was like, not yet. He's not there yet. At least I believe. Like, I've always kind of believed in this guy into being at least a starting goal time tender for a playoff team. But like, it's just. I've seen a lot this year, big saves. He looks awkward in the net, kind of like, not similar, but he looks awkward, just like Nedeljkovic. But he makes the saves. Like, he made so many saves off the goal line with his shoulder and stuff like that. He plays deeper, but he knows what he's doing. So I'm willing to, if he keeps this up throughout the whole season, I'm definitely willing to say he's one of the top 10, 15 goalies in the league at least. So
yeah, he's definitely playing pretty decent right now. Yeah, that's for sure.
Absolutely. So, no, just want to note on that game. I might as well bring up the next Penguins game quickly. They played Anaheim. I'll take 5 seconds on this. It was one of the most boring games I've ever seen, surprisingly. Anaheim's real legit, though. I think Anaheim is seriously good because where their issues lie, if they come with the youth, is up front. If they can't score, they're going to struggle, but they're so good everywhere else. All their defensemen are solid at bare minimum. They got an elite goaltender in Gibson. Sometimes they just don't get their offense rolling, but other than that, they're totally fine. This team is going to be super good in the future.
Yeah, that's for sure. They're just, How do you stop
too.
the team kind of at the in the moment? Like,
they
got a lot of vets around them to help when they have those slouches and stuff like that. Like, you don't need Silverberg to show up every game, but every once in a while, you're going to need him to help you win a game. And they have a guy like that on each line. Like Raquel's starting to come back and pick back up a little bit. So we've been
and Troy Terry that game too. To clarify how good he was, and this is no slouch on Zegras by any means. I was more scared every time Terry had the puck than Zegras that game. Like he was everywhere.
Terry is like a legit.
He's legit.
Hockey player.
He is
like,
a
Zegras
legit
will get
top
lost
6
in
guy.
the shuffle, and like Zegras will get lost in the shuffle just because he's young and can't be
right now.
He's not that impactful right now, but like Terry is legitimately like he looks taller.
Terry's
than he is.
Like, Terry's their best player right now. I know Zegras is having a heater and playing really great hockey, but like Terry looks like the most dangerous guy even when he's not scoring. So he's just flying everywhere. He's always the first to the puck. Seems like people are more scared of that he's gonna work them. So
they also have so many good, talented young guys that you don't need all of them to play good at one time.
God,
like the reason they keep winning is because of that Isaac Wallstrom lately.
He's been dope too. Like, loved how he played.
He's been really, really good. So like, all they need is they got 3 lines of just like I said. You got that such a good balance there with young and old, and it's enough potential. It's enough skill to just make to keep you in every game.
Absolutely.
One thing to commend on Anaheim's part was when John Gibson went out with injury, Stolarz came in and he's
a good goalie.
Wall. He was very competent, which
very good
I imagine being thrown into a game is not.
Sorry, continue, Jordan.
No, I was just saying, I just imagine being thrown into the middle of a game is not easy, right?
No,
the momentum's already in place. You're not really warm. Everybody else is warm.
Yeah, it can be definitely really tough jumping in. I love Stolarz for what he brings. He just is a perfect backup for Gibson. I think he could potentially be very much like Brisebois was in Winnipeg. And learn as much as he can under him and become a very, very competent 1B behind someone. I trust Stolarz a lot. I think he doesn't get... Last year, he came in when Gibson was hurt too, a lot, and played really good hockey on an Anaheim team that was giving up so many chances last year. So, no, I'm a big fan of this whole team. I wondered for a bit if they were legit, if they're actually a playoff team, if they can actually compete. And I think they can. I think they're as good as any of these bubble teams or teams that are just barely in. Like, they were working with... Like, Pittsburgh was better in the game. Not by much, though. And I think that says a lot for the veteranness of Pittsburgh, for how many years these guys have been getting it done. And Anaheim competed very, very well with them. Says a lot for a very new up-and-coming team.
They're sure not going to just make it easy for Calgary, Edmonton, and Vegas to keep those top 3 spots.
Well, they're in first right now still. I know they've got 4 games in hand. Edmonton, 3 on Vegas, and 2 on Calgary. But still, they have a points percentage of .617. Like, that's great. That's fantastic for a team, especially what they are. They're up there with the best of the league. So
yeah, exactly.
Cannot complain one bit about their play. Do you guys have any games you want to talk about specifically?
I'll bring up the Oilers Bruins game from a few nights ago.
Let's talk about some Oilers.
Basically, I'll bring up the Bruins first because it's hilarious. Patrice Bergeron has now broken his nose 7 times.
Yeah, I heard that on the broadcast. That's insane. I mean, I know how it feels. I've broken mine a couple times.
That's just great. What a warrior! But yeah. Anyways, looks like Ullmark's kind of settled in here, boys. It's nice to see. Actually, both of these goalies really started playing good hockey. Nice to see. I think he got a 41 save night in this.
While you're on the goalies,
42 save night. I think his last game or the game before this. So Ullmark's finally feeling swell and comfortable there, and
I got some goalie news on them too on the Bruins. Tuukka Rask is now the Boston Bruins emergency goalie, so he's their e-bug right now.
Hell yeah, man.
So it's pretty inevitable, though, he's going to sign a contract with them. Like, I was hesitant at first for a bit, but now that he's back in Boston, just chilling there, like, training with everyone. And
yeah.
Now it's pretty obvious what's going to happen. Until I saw him back in Boston, I didn't believe it. But he's there now.
I'm not really honestly sold on him for surely signing with Boston yet.
Not for sure, but
these guys
it's Boston or no one. Now I believe it's Boston or no one to me. I definitely believe that.
No, I don't think so. I think he'll still possibly sign somewhere else.
The only way I see that happening is if Boston says no. If Boston themselves say no, it's the only way. But I don't see why they say no. Is the difference. So, sorry.
They'd have to trade somebody, would they not? They'd have to trade one of those goalies.
No, I'm pretty sure Swayman
on waiver.
I'm pretty sure it's a 2-way, Swayman. I want to say he's on 2-way and can be sent down.
I believe he is.
If that's the case, then
that's why I believed it a lot more. I'm looking as we speak.
Yeah, from day one, I always thought Rask would be with the Bruins at some point. Why? It'd be weird if he went anywhere else. Then I heard about him possibly going somewhere else. I'm like, what the?
Yeah, Swayman's on his ELC still, so for 2 more years. So he's able to go down. And I wouldn't hate that for a season going with Ullmark and Rask. Have Swayman start every game in the minors and then just, he's obviously good enough play, but you got a great third goalie. Like the best third goalie in the NHL if you sign Rask and have Swayman as your 3. So, but you can continue back with the Bruins Edmonton game.
So Draisaitl got 2 dingbats. That's 23, which is
insane. Insane.
My goodness. What is? I don't even know what to say, honestly. They've been playing not great lately, but that's just because they've been losing. Had a few injuries. I don't know. You got to lose sometime, right? It's not that big a deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Still missing their goalies. Got to ride Koskinen or young guy Skinner. Love seeing Skinner in net. He's great. Love that
stuff.
He actually played in this Boston game, so so cool. Actually, a tough game for him to play in. That's good. It's a good test for him, and he at least came up to the challenge. So that's kind of one of the first good challenges for Skinner. So yeah, you got to wonder. I really hope this goaltending situation gets sorted out pretty soon. Here, there's lots of guys that are.
Well, the Fleury trade rumor mill is back. It's everywhere.
There's lots of guys. Lots of
guys available.
Claim Khudobin right now.
I was just about to say. If you're Edmonton, do you claim Khudobin? Because I
don't know if they have the money to do it. I think is the only issue, right?
That's true. Or if you can maybe do something else. Well, if he clears waivers, maybe you trade with Dallas and be like, he can clear waivers then, right? If he does it once, he can go up and down. So have him as your third goalie if you can make the money work and bury the cap. But
yeah, no, it's definitely interesting. Other past that, I don't have too much on this game. was just a good game to watch. Wasn't really
Boston
too crazy.
Played a little bit better than what we've kind of seen this season.
Oh yeah, right. Matty Grizzlick got his first goal, which is kind of weird because he's been a pretty decent offensive player for this team. But looking more forward towards like the trades and stuff that are going on with Boston. They're full of this rumor mill stuff.
No way.
Hell yeah, man. Like I want that Dylan Strome for DeBrusque trade to happen. I want these guys even the Oilers is a good hot topic for some trade talk. Like there's guys like Varlamov. Like who else is out there that could get traded?
There's a lot of goalies. There's some goalies pretty available. I mean, not that it's ever going to happen, but Matt Murray is available.
We thought we were going to get a pretty big goalie carousel there.
We did. We did.
We kind of did. I didn't.
Not as big as we thought. As
much as we kind of thought, but that's because of COVID and all that. So,
here let's say I think so. Leafs, they got a new goalie, and I'm talking like 1B 1A better at least. Boston got new ones. Like there's quite a bit. I would say there's probably 10 teams that probably got new goalies, like legit goalies this year.
Yeah, like Colorado, I guess.
Chicago.
Yeah. Oh yeah, right. Chicago got the old flurries and stuff.
Yeah. There's a lot of teams.
I'm just saying, there's more of a goalie carousel that can happen. There's a lot of guys.
Oh, there's still more. Absolutely, there's still more teams, but with how many that did, like Carolina, Detroit, other teams that just did, like Dallas technically getting Holtby, like there's lots of goalie moves.
So many demons or goalies all over the place.
Yeah, nice to see. Lots and change of series this year. But do you guys want to dive into the Tortorella talk now and get that done with? Because we kind of brought up Anaheim already. Might as well quickly close off the Anaheim talk officially with this. So I'm going to play a quick clip for you guys. If you haven't heard it, then you have probably not been listening to a lot of broadcasts, because this is John Tortorella talking about the Trevor Zegras goal. If you guys need me to pause it any means to just chat about it quick, just say pause. So here we go.
First thing I thought of when I saw that goal, Mr. John Tortorella, was what does Coach Torts think of this goal? I really want to hear your opinion here.
Yeah, and it's tremendously skilled. For Sonny Milano, even to yell Michigan in the middle of a play in a game is skill. That's a skilled play. My position, though, is it good for the game? Like I hear Ray saying all the kids are doing it now, okay, in practice and stuff like that. I'm not so sure. And again, I'm not trying to be a fool here, but I'm just not so sure it's great for the game. If you did that back in the 2000, late 90s, 2000, you get your head taken off. It's cool, you know. It's cool to watch and all that.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it right there for a second. I'm gonna continue to play.
So, like, you know that time frame where like the refs and the coaches and the players all like created their own like league that they called penalties on and stuff like that. Yeah. That time. Yeah, of course, that's the time that you would have got your head taken off because they literally made their own rules back then.
Let's talk. Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about the start of it. Him saying, "I don't know if it's good for this league," because I think that is the most crazy thing he could have said. How is this not good for this league? Do you know how many views that has gotten? Last number I heard that Zegras goal got was like 50 million or like 5 million or something like that. Or 50 million. I think it's like 50 million views on Twitter. Something like crazy number like that. So I don't see how that's bad for getting that many eyeballs on it. That's what people want to see to get the new age fans that the NHL want.
Yeah, it's just primitive talks, man. Like these guys are so stuck in the past. Like they're all the dudes that still want to punch you in the face. Like I said in the other episode about hitting people, like they just want to knock you on your ass and feel strong and all that sort of stuff. The only reason they played hockey was they could just annihilate people and stuff like this is that. So. Like this is the primitive those are your primitive thoughts there, guys. Like, you're not
Absolutely.
actually using your brain in general, you know. Like, when it comes to it, I know we want to keep the game tough, I guess, apparently, and like, it's not like it's not tough. It's can be tough in a different sort of sense. Like, you don't need to break people's legs to make it seem like this is hockey, you know. So yeah, that's just my thoughts, is that, like,
I'm really not done with the clip,
these
so
people just so primitive in their thoughts. Like, Jesus, like, grow up.
Okay, for sure. Let's finish the rest of the clip, or at least go through more of it and see what else Torts has to say.
But I'm not so sure it's good for the game, and I stand by that.
50 million views is a lot.
That is 50 million.
Well, it's not even. It's the goal is amazing, right? I mean, you said the fact that they've actually said that. Like, I have kids in that coach in high school that they want me to drop plays off the faceoff so they can try to score a goal like that, to score the Michigan goal. But for him to be a rookie, to actually try that in a game as a rookie, you would never even thought about doing something like that.
What would you have said if they were on your team and they did that?
Yeah, I'd have a talk with the people. I would after the game. And again, I'm not trying to be difficult about it.
Right there, I just want to pause one more time before we finish it. Why does he need to have a talk with the player after that? Why does he feel the need that, this is my team, I need to talk to him? What are you going to say?
Because there's meatheads out there that'll apparently slash and destroy your life for embarrassing me. That is actually the idea. These guys are all stuck in the past.
Well, let's ask the question then. That's like, how does him coming up and saying first of all, what is Torts going to say? That how can you pull a negative from it? Like, seriously, how do you pull a negative from this?
Yeah, like
the goal might have been offside, or the goal might have been high stick. Sorry, not offside. That's like the worst thing you could say about it, but it wasn't. So
no, the only thing he'd probably say is like, that was all nice and all that sort of stuff. You're lucky it worked or whatever, and like, just wait for somebody to slash it. Don't be mad when people slash you in the back of the legs and the refs don't call it, because that's the game they used to live in, man. Like, you do stuff like that, and the refs will let people slash him in the back of the legs and stuff like that or whatever, because that guy's...
Well, I guarantee they won't. It's like
the defensemen and the players don't want to get better at the game, so they get mad and they just, I should be able to cross-check you now because you're better than me. Like, it's all of that in one. It's so sad, man.
I do want to say, I think it's changing. It is changing. This stuff is happening way more frequently than we ever could have thought.
That's why what he's saying is so obsolete.
Absolutely. 100% I agree. I'm just going to quickly finish this clip, and then we can close out and have our final thoughts on it.
It's fun to watch. It's really cool, but I just think I think our game has gone so far away from what the game should be.
It has gone away
an
from
honest game.
That.
And, it's almost gotten too showman. I know you need to have it. You need to sell the game. But I'm just, I'm from the ilk of it's still a hard game to play, and a good honest hockey game needs to be played. I think some of this stuff here, we get carried away.
But that's good for the game, though. The fact
but if people don't get hurt, man, I tell you what.
Yeah, I want to point out what the rest of these guys say quick, because at least they're thinking more sensible.
We're trying to attract.
Yes.
Is the casual
fan. But I think you're losing fans, too. I think you're losing other fans also when you're attracting others towards this stuff.
Okay, but right away I want to say about him saying, but you lose other fans. Okay, 50 million views. How many old generation, I'm putting quotations with that, how many old generation fans will stop watching hockey from that? Just throw any ballpark of a number.
10.
Yeah, 10. Exactly 10. What I was going to say.
Okay, I'm gonna be like a little bit generous to them.
Gaining 1 million.
Okay, I'm gonna be more generous, and let's say 1,000. It's definitely not that, but I'm just gonna be generous. I will take the 50 million eyes over the 1,000 that leave, the 10,000 that leave, any day. That we're in the plus of fans. That's more eyes. If my math is correct, 50 million is more than 1,000. I think I'm right on that. So Like,
I suck at math, but I'm pretty sure that's correct.
Yeah, like, I don't see the downside. Now, when he says this used to be a hard game, a tough and honest, what about this play isn't honest? What about this game isn't tough anymore? We've seen how many hits this past week where, I mean, granted, a lot questionable, but how many huge hits open ice? How many fights? Man. We still, like, fights are down,
dude,
but we still fight.
These guys think toughness is like strong and kicking your ass. That's not the definition of toughness. I'm sorry to everybody who thinks that's what toughness is, but that's you hurting somebody is not toughness. Like, I don't know how to explain this to people, because it's clearly not getting through to like half of these guys that just
explain what the explanation is.
Like what
it's
are you
not
talking about? Like, yeah, this
tough is tough is now this is a different argument. I know that Chase, I definitely know you have your thoughts on disagreeing with playing through injuries and glorifying it, but that's I define as more tough. You block 5 shots in the last 5 minutes and you go out there for your final shift anyways, even with a hurt ankle, puck in the ankle, big ass bruise, like that's tough.
Yeah.
Taking someone, picking them up, cross-checking someone's wrists because they did a Michigan is not tough. That's you not knowing how to defend it properly. If he lays him out with a clean hit behind the net, I got no issues with it.
Yeah, how about
slash on the hands? I got an issue.
Stand there and watch them. All 5 of you stood there and watched that happen. So, like,
the game's gonna keep moving forward with or without you. You can either go with it or you can die with it.
Well, and that's exactly what I was gonna say. Is that every single sport goes through evolution. You can talk about basketball. Back in the 70s, it was back to the fucking basket. You're knocking the guy down with your fucking ass and then putting in a layup, right?
Yeah, wasn't threes like nothing back then too? Like they never shot threes. They used to never shoot threes back in the day.
Weren't really a thing. It was mostly like you just backed the guy down, or you got a dunk, or like a layup.
Well, and
now
do you think you're better than me because you can shoot threes? Like is that like that's the mind?
They're not saying that. I understand. Yeah,
like,
I agree.
Way back, like what the hell?
But they did.
They did. And now look at it. Steph Curry is talked about as one of top 5 best players of NBA history.
You can't shoot threes in the NBA, what are you doing in the NBA?
Now, exactly, right? Like Jordan said, evolution is huge in everything, not just sports.
Yeah, like look at
everything.
All the changes in the rules made through history of the NHL. Like everybody just loses their mind about it, and then the game gets better and it's more entertaining. Like I don't.
Yeah, absolutely. Like,
and actually, this is about the safety of the players. This all, like, you can say whatever you want, Torres, but like the game's like this and looks like this to you because like we're trying to keep these players safe. You know, all these guys in that era and before that era that aren't playing anymore, like they can't play hockey basically. Like a lot of these guys, their hips are done or this is done. They have concussions or whatever. Like. Lots of these guys are just mangled from especially being just fighters.
Yeah.
You know, like how long were some of these guys' career? Like maybe people's careers would be longer. Like maybe the average player career isn't like 200 games. Maybe it would be way different if you didn't have all this sort of stuff going on where people would constantly get hurt.
On that exact same road, right? They've realized, oh shit, there might be a reason we have guys retiring at 24 because their brains have holes in them from concussions. It might be our fault.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Absolutely. I got no single issues with rule change if it helps protect players.
Yeah, player safety is the number one thing.
Now,
you cannot watch talent if they are injured.
Yeah. Now, on the flip side, I understand there's probably be older fans that are like, well, that's bullshit, blah, 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 all this. But look, I don't want the game to turn into like an on-ice pillow fight either. Like, that's not what I want either. But I also don't want McDavid to get smoked in the head and then have to stop playing.
Because a guy's just tenaciously out there.
Because of a stupid...
Because that's his job or something.
I don't want to see Trevor Zegras go... Yeah.
So
I don't want to see Trevor Zegras go for another Michigan, him get slashed in the wrist, break his wrist, and he's never able to shoot the same again. And we don't get to
goes for
see
the
what
Michigan
he is.
Somebody throws a stick at him. Is that what's gonna what's I don't understand exactly, man.
And the best argument I can say about for older fans are like, oh, I still hate it. Well, then you have to outright and say you hate Datsuk too, because Datsuk has done this exact play before in the past, and not one person, not one, said anything about it back then. You have no right to say about it now. Yeah, if you love Datsuk, or even a Wings fan like that, you have zero right to complain about goals like this. Zero. So that's my final argument with it, because
I think you're absolutely right. Datsuk inspired this new style of play, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Actually using skill.
Kane, these guys, like these kids growing up, watch them do this stuff in the NHL and are upping the ante as they do in every sport.
They do it identically, and then they take it to another level.
Yeah.
McDavid changed the way we skate. Does that mean he's bad for the game?
Yeah, to say this goal was never going to happen is like saying the Crosby was never going to happen. Like, it was done in earlier leagues and lower leagues and stuff like that. It's bound to hit the NHL in all reality. There was on NHL 2006 the Zegras goal. Like, it was going to happen at some point. Like, how are we all just losing our mind? Like, anybody or anything. Like, it's such a weird thing for there to be so much talk over. Like, that's the weirdest part of the talk. Like, we should be just talking about how sweet this sunny side up goal was.
So let's transition it to some positive, talking about this goal. I've got a question because it's been floating around everywhere. Which goal is better, this one or Ovi's against Arizona?
Ovi's, man. Ovi's is the best goal ever. Like, there's no way you get better than that. Like, that was actually ridiculous. Like, he felt that puck, and that's why that went in. There was
okay, then I'll change it. I'll change it to then just this season to maybe it's a closer of a debate. Is it this or is it McDavid's 1-on-4? Not trying to
I have to give it to McDavid. I can't give this one too high just because, like I said, like, nobody did anything. Everybody just stood there. Like, other than those
in
guys,
defense, McDavid's, I don't think the Rangers defense did anything either there.
Hey, they were trying. They were at least collapsing together and missing him completely. Swinging their stick sadly and stuff like that. Like, it wasn't good defense. But at least, like, McDavid exerted effort to score this goal. These kids were just standing by the net, and they're just like, hey, you should do that. And then he's just like, well, I can't really do that, but I'll do this. And like, everybody just watched him do it.
Yeah.
Sweet. Like,
no.
Like, I give it like 17,000 gold stars for like how nice it was, but
no, it's
like,
just had to bring it up.
Nobody cared.
No,
on the
absolutely.
ice on the other team.
For sure. So I love this goal, though. I think it's great. I just wanted to bring up, I know we talked about it last podcast, and so I don't want to take too much more time, but Jordan didn't get a chance to really talk about it with us, so I had to bring it up, and obviously we had to talk about Torts' extremely hot take there.
Poor take, in my opinion.
Extremely poor take, and I love Torts, but please stop broadcasting. I love you as an assistant coach or something, but...
Like you said, like we understand what you guys are getting at. Like, that is, we don't want to go to pillow fighting or something like that. That's not what we're going for here.
No, absolutely not.
All these hits that I've seen in the last little bit that just like pretty much ruin guys. Like, to me, maybe the forward I'm slightly okay with, maybe not in love with the future of the NHL, is guys playing way more respectfully. Like, as in, you see the guy and he's blindside hit or something, you're going to hit him on a blindside hit. Like, just be respectful about the hit. Like, that's
the one thing I'll say too.
It may not be massive, and it may not make the whole crowd just go like mind-blowingly just crack the guy sort of thing. Like, I'm somewhat okay with that being missed, and it turns into a more respectful game. I'm somewhat okay with that trend, but like, I don't want to get rid of like, it needs to feel like a hard game. It is a hard game.
But that'll never go away. people are worried about this. It's not going anywhere. There's big players every year drafted.
Yeah,
there's players. People make careers off of being 6'5". Now, some of them don't throw hits like they do, but like there is every year in a draft gonna be a Tom Wilson or 5. Maybe not at like skill level wise, but there's gonna be someone like that. That's always going to be valuable in the NHL. And as well as they keep having 2 different rule sets for regular season and playoffs, there will always be a big, strong, hard, fast game. So stop complaining that's gone, because it's not.
Yeah, it's not.
We just don't fight every...
Ty Domi, these guys were good at hockey.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't just suck at hockey. Like, they did their other job too, but like, they were good at hockey. Like,
yes,
we're not
the skilled big guys are still like the most valuable players in the NHL right now. They are the most valuable, other than right-handed defensemen, top 4D. They are the most valuable players in the NHL. Players that are big and skilled and like to throw hits. Hitting is a way you play. If you watch actually games, there's still lots of teams that throw hits to create. And
it takes somebody out of the game. You get leveled. It takes you more than like a few seconds to get back up.
Yeah, hitting will not go anywhere. I get it's reducing. It won't be gone like completely. And if it does, I guarantee you this won't be a sport for much longer. So you don't have to worry. Like if it were to ever get to that point.
Yeah. And the other thing
or you'll be dead by then anyway, so who cares?
Like this is by far the most physical sport there is. Like
absolutely,
this is
by
this
far
is the hardest sport by far. So like I don't we can complain in that like I don't think we need to complain or have a right to complain because like
nobody's complaining about football having lack of hits because of all the skilled speed and everything.
Yeah, exactly. And like watch football. It's like there was one play and there'll be one hit. Like that's
there's gonna be
like being mad at Patrick Mahomes for throwing too good and not letting the guy run.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, why aren't you taking sacks instead of throwing it away? I want to see you get hit.
Yeah, exactly. No, nobody's complaining about that. And so no, I think we can move on, but I think we've definitely made our point.
Hell yeah, man. No, that was good.
Let's move over to a little bit of your wings there and talk about a bit of Robbie Fabry.
Fabrice, can you smell it?
Robbie Fabry signs a 3-year, $12 million extension with the Red Wings. That's an average annual value of $4 million. Chase, your instant analysis on Fabry's new contract.
Oh, pretty stoked, man. Yeah, actually, I'm really stoked. It's cool that we signed him. But I actually want to... First thing I kind of thought of was like, I wonder if we're just going to do this like we did with Mantha. Same shit happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to leave. I want to be a Wing for the rest of my life.
3 years. Short term.
A couple of years later, he just got... Well, not even a couple of years. I think it was like months later he got traded after that contract. But yeah, no, I love the deal. Perfect deal. I think that's good for the old Fabry. It's nice to hear that he wants to stick around. Hopefully, he actually does. I just don't know if we'll be able to keep him around unless he ends up on the third line, kind of being our more
that's
dude in a couple
that's
years.
what I think will happen. I love Fabry.
Him and Verana. That's the only thing that I kind of
for sure.
See both of those guys sticking around for the long term.
No,
but
not like
2 years, 3 years. Like I don't see why. Really,
he should finish.
Why move really anybody?
He should finish or be close to finishing this contract with the Wings at least. It's a good deal. Sure. Robbie Fabry's got a real good shot. He's got some sneaky skill. He's going to be a decent middle six guy throughout the rest of his career. I think he's going to be more comfortable as a third line scorer than anything. But if he plays with the right guys on the second line, then definitely. Can't hurt you with $4 million. That's easily tradable away. I don't think he's gonna slip below that value, and if he does, it won't be by more than $1 million value. I think so. It's short term too, like we knew Yzerman would do. He's not gonna sign anyone long term except for maybe when Raymond and Seider's contracts come. Like
when Larkin does it, we're keeping you.
Kind of makes you wish they did that with Bertuzzi, but
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Not really.
Oh, really? I would. I fucking love Bertuzzi. I would trade so much for Pittsburgh to get Bertuzzi.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait for that haul.
But I'll take it. But anyways, no, I think it's a good contract. Jordan, do you have any points on the Fabry contract?
Yeah, no, I mean, I completely agree. I think good term, good payment for a guy that's going to put goals in, right?
Yeah, you probably paid him more than what you probably could have given him, I guess. But I think that's just like rewarding a guy who, they're rewarding a guy who has earned a valuable spot on this team.
Yeah, longest contract on our team now.
Yeah, that's insane.
Contract.
That's insane.
No one else has a contract in 24-25.
That's so crazy that he's your longest contract. But Yzerman, like we said, no long-term deal for anyone.
3-year deal unless you're the man.
Unless you're the man.
No, I love that. I love that idea. No, I like the direction we're going. Do we want to get into some little trade talk just because we're talking about the Wings?
Yeah, let's do it.
So bring up Evander Kane was playing in the AHL with the Barracudas.
Held pointless in his first AHL game. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, wah. So scouts from the Pens, Stars, Bruins, Red Wings, Predators, and Leafs were at that game.
Well, we knew the Leafs would be there. I'm going to start off right now and say if Pittsburgh gets Evander Kane, I will be furious.
He doesn't look. He wouldn't really. He wouldn't be too bad game-wise on the team, honestly.
Game-wise, I think hockey-wise it would be fine for the first year. It's the year 2, 3, and 4 I'm worried about.
Yeah, the real bad part about this is that it's several years. That is why when we brought it up in the first place a few weeks ago, I said I don't see anything happen this year just because of the term. But yeah, I do want to bring up the Wings fact. Like the fact that the Wings are in on this made me interested, but it also makes sense because I think we're going to be one of those teams that it doesn't really matter if it. Basically, what I see this as is we might be able to get somebody literally for absolutely nothing while we're in complete limbo right now. Like we might make the playoffs this year. What if we could push that to another maybe actually level. Force that to happen? You know, like we don't have Verana back. If we have Verana and Kane, like
you have a second line just as good as your first line.
Yeah, like we're getting insanely loaded. Our top 9 would be an actual top 9 if we did something like this. And
having Bertuzzi and Kane would be gross as your 2 power forwards in your top 6.
No doubt.
Hockey-wise, I'm saying.
Yeah, and I'm not really against this just because, like, as I think Yzerman's system, I think the system the Wings play as like an organization would bode well for a guy like this, as in they can deal with it. And if you're not on page, then you're off page. Like that's just simply it. Like bye then. Like that's like,
my fear.
You don't want to be part of the team, then like that's fine. But I think we can get away with it because it'll be cheap. Because like there's no way nobody's taking this contract full on.
It's 50% retained.
If not twice.
It's 50% retained at least. No matter who takes what percentage, if it's 1 team, 2 teams, like it's getting 50% retained. He's not moving without it. No team's taking that risk.
Yeah.
And I asked the question, though, to teams. Do you want to be San Jose? San Jose has this guy and are screwed because of it. A lot of things were really bad and still are kind of hanging over their head. Are you willing to take the risk that he's going to do the same thing to your team? Because everywhere he's gone, this is 3 teams now where we've had big issues with him, Evander Kane. You can't trust the guy. He's not Tony DeAngelo, who's 24, 25, has some really absurd views, or I shouldn't say absurd, that's the wrong word, but very strong views and such. But like you can kind of change that out of a guy. Evander Kane's been in the NHL since he was like 19. He's been in here for 12 years. He's not changing. I tell you that now.
Yeah.
It's not a coincidence that everyone who's played with him has said he's a bad teammate in some shape or form.
Yeah, and like the only way like the Wings are going after this, or it's like anybody in my eyes, it has to be retained twice. There's no like 50% is cool and all, but yeah, no,
it can only be 50%.
You can retain twice.
Yeah, you can retain twice, but the max between both can only be...
I don't know what I was reading. They were like making it sound like
you could
actually do that.
In the CBA, only a contract can be maxed at 50%, but it can be split between two different teams. So if Arizona wants 25% of that contract, San Jose would take the others.
Yeah, I thought so because I don't remember it being like that because I was reading that article.
No, they just signed the new CBA anyways. It might have been different back before. I don't know what the old CBA, but I do know in this CBA it's 50%.
Yeah, so it's pretty strange. The only other spot I was thinking about with this guy was actually the St. Louis Blues because I'm hearing that things are getting a little frosty between Coach Berube, and Tarasenko. So it kind of got me thinking about the Blues going big game hunting. This is a little off that.
Wouldn't be a bad decision if they can get some players.
But let's just look at San Jose, right? Like,
yeah,
I feel like there's a deal destined to be here with St. Louis and San Jose.
Vander Kane would be so good as a Blue. Like as a player.
Somebody like that.
What did you say, Jordan?
I was just saying, no kidding. He'd really fit.
He'd fit that system perfectly as a hockey player. Shame he's such a fucking weirdo.
God.
Sorry.
There's like a guy like Hurdle. Hurdle's out there as well. Like when you're talking about Senko being traded, we've got lots of money here. Like they can do this.
By the way,
they especially if it's 50% retained and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
You could almost get Hurdle and Kane.
That would be
then
insane.
all you have to deal with
$6 million total.
A Kane contract if it doesn't work. Like 100% go for this. There, Doug Armstrong. Unless you know more about Kane than I know. Like there's a lot of back and forth. Like his wife is. Apparently
she's here a little crazy too.
Kane of pointing a loaded gun at her and her infant child, and then that wasn't actually true.
No,
and
that's not true.
Jesus Christ, man!
Everything she's accused him of is
big whirlwind.
Absolutely. Everything she's accused him of that isn't involving money isn't true. She's bad shit crazy. All the lawyers are coming out and saying that this isn't true. This isn't true. Now, does Kane have big money issues? That is true. That is a fact. Yeah. He's actually on like a retainer of some sort with his old agent because he owes them so much money. So like there is actual issues there, and there is locker room issues too with him. But yeah, I did want to clarify that. I also want to mention too, you brought up Hurdle. If you remember from doing our armchair GMs on Cap Friendly this off season, I made a trade with Minnesota and San Jose for Hurdle, and that trade was Kevin Fiala for Hurdle. And everyone called me crazy. Why does San Jose need Fiala? Well, what did I hear? A report that the rumor deal could happen. That would make sense. A lot of people are tying together. Kevin Fiala for Thomas Hurdle. Minnesota needs a center, and San Jose gets a young, skilled winger. Predict that for your future. Sorry, you can continue with these trades. I just had to bring that up and toot my own horn.
Yeah, no doubt. No, when I remember you bringing that up, I was like, yeah, that's a legit trade.
The only thing I did with it, I did an extension with San Jose. That's the only difference I made.
Yeah, no, it's cool that you brought that up because, like, I still kind of feel like when I did mine, it had, like, a Tierney going there or something. So, I still feel like they could do that, but, like, they had lots and all the trust in Ryan Hartman. And wow, were they right. So, what do they need now? Do you just get a third-line center? Or, I don't know. I think you should go ahead and make that move. I think that's the best move. We were talking about it from the start. I'm still surprised it hasn't happened. Hurdle for Fiala,
Yeah, I would love to just see it happen. Worst case, you can throw Hurdle on the wing.
Yeah, and like honestly, I've heard Hurdle's kind of still on the edge if he even wants to go anywhere. He seems to love being a Shark. So
I would too if I lived in San Jose.
Yeah,
like, that sounds fantastic. Making $5.5 million and living somewhere hot. Your team was very competitive for early in your career. They're up on the up compared to what I definitely thought they were going to be. Like, there's not a lot to completely dislike about San Jose, and the issue is leaving. Like, you don't have to leave to fix the locker room. The locker room's getting fixed with Kane being not there this year. We've seen how much that helps the team play better hockey. So, I think, I understand why Hurdle wants to stay.
No doubt. But I just like the idea of St. Louis and San Jose making a trade. If there's anybody that's going to make some big trades, maybe it's them, because San Jose's not in like
flipping Senko next year or something.
Yeah, because they're not in like a give up sort of mode right now.
They're actually performing well. I have them slipping quite far via my power rankings because I don't think they can sustain.
Same, I have.
But like they're playing good. They're playing good hockey though. Like for the most part, they're not gonna make playoffs, but they're definitely not probably a bottom 5 team.
Yeah, so like for this team as San Jose, like they could make they could look to the Blues because they actually have a player that they could get back. So it's not like they're just giving up on the team or whatever.
Get future picks as well. That'd be super
but
sweet.
Hard to give up on Hurdle. I'm sure they'd start losing a lot of games if they traded Hurdle. Obviously, that locker room was pretty tight. Just not with Kane because we see a whole brand new team out here.
Yeah, it just looks like happy in San Jose again. It looks happy. Like, I know they're not like completely winning like they used to, but this is the best it's looked since they were in the playoff contender, right? Like it's been a while. It's been a couple of years that we've been like, oh boy, this Sharks team. Like we forget about them a lot, but they were really bad and surprisingly really bad because they still had the good players. As we've seen, they're playing good now. But no, do you have any other trade guys to bring up?
No, not really. I know
I got a name that I heard. I heard this out. I do not think this is true whatsoever. And if it is, it's like 1% true, I think. So take it with a grain of salt. But there is rumors out that Chicago would be willing to offload Patrick Kane, and Kane wants out.
Yeah, I'd probably want to move on from that place. Hey, after all that.
Now, if you're, because this is an interesting name, and this is by far the biggest name in trade talks we've heard in a long, like since obviously Jack Eichel, I guess. But he's got 2 years left, one after this year. Let's start as Chicago. What do you expect in a Kane trade if you're trading him? At like minimum. Let's say bare minimum you'll take for Patrick Kane today.
I definitely need a good player. At least a real good player in a pick.
Like real good player, like that's playing now, a prospect, a forward.
No, you need somebody like right now. I don't.
Okay, so a forward.
I don't think Chicago would want to just straight up give them up for just a bunch of prospects and wait on that sort of stuff. Wait for everything, I guess, is what I'm getting at. I think they'd want at least one piece that could bear some of the load of losing Kane.
So you want a winger back, is what you're saying? A top 6 winger?
I just need a player. Yeah, top 6 player or something.
Well, I know, but like, let's put parameters to it. Like, what position do you want if you can have it? Like, if you're sending out to all the GMs, this is what I want all in a Patrick Kane deal. Straight up. What are you putting in there? Because I'm going to say right away, I want a young, but younger D-man who's already established as a top 4. Instantly, that's my first thing I want. So someone like a Sam Girard, a type, would be absolutely brilliant. Willing to retain if it gets more like an extra first round pick. I would retain like $3 million or so. I think that's fair.
You'd probably be able to get so much for Kane.
Oh yeah, and I'd want a first round pick on top of that. I'd want at least an A- prospect and probably a forward who can slide in now and be decent. Like, doesn't have to, like a middle six guy at least.
Yeah, I'd want a top 6 forward. That's probably 26 to 28.
Yeah, that's what I want for my D-man. I want a D-man 24 to 28 who's already top 4 and legit. Ideally left-handed too, if I'm Chicago.
Yeah, do a top 6 forward and maybe a couple good prospects, maybe just one grade A prospect, and then like a first round pick.
So I've got one like off the top of my head. A deal that can be made somewhat. Here's what I think. Just let me pull the team up for a second here. Where the hell are they? There they are. What if Colorado made a deal with them? This is all hypothetical, by the way. This is me shooting for the moon, like, of anything. What if Colorado, let's say they know, what's his name is healthy? Bowen Byram is going to be good and healthy. Trade Sam Girard, first round pick, a prospect, your best prospect, I guess, probably, so who's not playing. So you're probably going to go with like a Shane Bowers, Sampo Ranta, or a Olsen, something like that. And then a first round pick with whatever you want, like a JT Compher. Do you do that with Chicago?
You get Byram, hey, that'd be pretty fun. Sweet.
No, you wouldn't give up Byram. You give up Girard.
Oh, so you get like Compher, Girard, and like
Compher, Girard, a first, and Shane Bowers, or like an Olsen, or just a good prospect that's been picked within the first 2 rounds in the past couple drafts.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably not.
As Chicago, you say no, or as
probably
Colorado?
Not. As Chicago, I don't know.
Do you do that as Colorado?
So. Both teams, I don't know if either of them would really want that.
I don't see why they wouldn't.
Paying for Kane.
It's a lot for paying for Kane, but you're going for the cup, and they're already want to go all in. We've heard them in Eichel talks.
I don't think those are the right. That wouldn't be the right moves to.
If you can get money retained somehow too, I think that's definitely what you do. I would do it in a heartbeat because that's a player that Patrick Kane's like a top 5 player if he's on a good team. Top 5 forward if he's on the best team. Sure. So I don't.
Yeah, and with only this year and next year on his contract, like
it's not that
bad.
I
said, you should be able to get quite the boatload. I don't know how you make a trade like that happen though. That's tough. Wonder what the value ends up. When you get to those big guys, it's tough for teams to just give up a whole bunch for like one guy. You know,
it is.
Kind of seen that with Eichel-ish. And like
sometimes it needs to be done.
Kind of how the Weber-Subban trade happened. It's just like, well, we both can't really do anything with trading wise. Like nobody wants to accept any of the trades.
Nope.
We both have them on the market, so they said, yeah, let's do it. So yeah, it's interesting if that's actually a real thing. Like I can understand Kane.
Hence why I said
guys wanted to move on.
Yeah, hence why I just wanted to start off with I've heard this, but I don't think it's true by any means. This might be just random chatter all over Twitter and taken very lightly. Do you guys have any news you guys want to specifically?
The only thing I want to bring up is the Oilers. I'm not loving the fact that they're just talking about pursuing third line centers and defensemen and stuff like that. Like, Jesus,
why is that?
Get a goalie. Just trade for your Kudobin or your decent goalie Fleury or Varlamov. There's lots of options out here. Go just solidify your goalie. Get a goalie with a contract for next year or something like that. And just let this play out. Like I'm fine with you getting like a 6-7 D-man or
I would love a
D-man for the playoff run and stuff like that, but like a legit bottom 6 one, like probably play in your top 4 because it's you guys. But you know, like I just don't like that I'm hearing all this crap. But I think this might just be media trying to force the envelope. But last time I heard this, they traded for Thuy and Mike Green and bit him in the ass. So
yeah,
just don't go there. Just get a goalie. You guys are close to possibly starting to win playoff games. Like I've said several times, let the team do it for you before you start making decisions, you know? Like,
Absolutely.
you have a decent hole in your goaltending. Koskinen's all right. He fills the void. But if you have like a Fleury and a Varlamov or somebody like that with Mike Smith for the next year or two, I think you'll have a team much more confident in their play. And you'll know more about your team. How good is McLeod and this stuff? Like, put these guys to the test in the playoffs and let's see how this year plays out, man. They're playing good. They might be able to win a round by just pure how good they're playing, you know? So
yeah, I'm willing for Edmonton, if they got out and got a defenseman that they're gonna keep for a while, that's legit. I wouldn't be
That's
upset.
Probably a better idea.
That's a better idea. Or I definitely agree with the goaltending. Like, they need a goalie, I think, if they want to have any success in the playoffs. I think they're fine.
Just to give the team a little bit more comfortability going into the playoffs. It's not that like this goalie is going to change the team or something like that, but like you need more than what you got going on, you know? Like it'll probably help.
What's that, Jordan?
Well, I was just saying it gives you a little more confidence, right? Like going in feeling like you've got a good goaltender, like you can really trust him. Like,
seeing like you say, like you think it's okay. I don't think it is okay playoff wise. Like Mike Smith will do what he does, but like realistically, he can shut down a series. That's it. I don't think maybe two. If he's on an extreme heater, he can shut down two. And if Koskinen's playing his best, at best he can do one series. So I just don't think this goaltending's by far good enough doing what this team wants. Like, this isn't like Leafs where, just win a round, we'll be happy. This is the Oilers. Like, they want to go all the way.
On a little run.
They want to go on a run. And we're talking like conference finals run. So one round is cool. But McDavid's already done that. He doesn't give a shit. He really doesn't. Like, the Leafs players will feel so much of a relief when they get past the first round for the first time, whenever that is. Like, just because that's what's held them back, and they might open up and play better hockey in the playoffs. The Oilers know how to do it. They just need to do it. And I don't think the goaltending can do it for them.
Yeah, nope. No,
so
get that goalie.
Get that goalie.
Don't worry about anything else.
Like, a defenseman, if the right guy's available. You gotta go in being open to that idea for sure. But you can't. If you see the first guy and you're like, I don't know, and you bite, you've made a mistake. You got to be 100% like, I want this guy in my top four for the next 2-3 years. Like, we shit on the Leafs getting Muzzin early, which I still agree upon, but at least it wasn't like, we got Muzzin on the final year of his deal and then he's just either going to walk away or maybe.
Exactly. Like, he was helpful. He helped your team this whole last several years.
He did very good for them what they did, but might be an early. I don't think the Oilers is early, but it needs to be the right guy.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much all I got on the Oilers. Other than, should we bring up Chris Russell?
Yeah, Russell, buddy. Okay, so I didn't know about this, but apparently there's a, what is this called? It's like the shin pad award. The
silver shin pads. He was given
shin pads
for the most blocked shots. Like, that's hilarious. I love that. Paying homage to the silver stick for 1,000 games and stuff like that. And what do you get for goals? Don't you get one for like 500 goals or something, like a plaque of some sort? I can't remember what it is, but yeah, no, it was just super cool.
Silver shin pads, man.
Silver shin pads off of a random stat that has made his whole career, and his whole bank account is way thicker because of this. I love it.
Hell yeah! Nice to see Alberta boy. Good done in Alberta. Hey,
absolutely cool. Love Chris. Love that Chris Russell, even though
I didn't love his contract for a few years there.
For quite a while, I really hated his contract. That's a great Jordan. I'm pretty sure Jordan and I, the first year of this podcast, like ripped him nonstop in the Oilers defense. We were pretty brutal to some teams. Like the Oilers defense, we're like, this team is shit.
Or Cody Ceci if he listens to the early.
Oh my god. I used to bash Cece every podcast because he was a Penguin, and at the start he really struggled. And every week, Jordan would just start off the podcast by saying, all right, let's start off with you shitting on Cody Cece. And I would take 5 minutes and say exactly everything Cody Cece did wrong. But then as games kept going along, he started doing good. And you'll hear it over the podcast if you actually go back and listen. But it's just like, 1 week it's like, he's the worst defenseman of all time. Well, okay, he wasn't as bad tonight. And then it goes to, you know what? This guy's actually legit, and I hope he signs back in Pittsburgh on a cheap deal.
He played good there. Hey?
He was so good for us last year, so that was really good times shitting on Cody Cece, and now he's just making bank in Edmonton. Funny how things come full circle. Let's move on to some international talk, I guess. Let's start off with the U.S. And Bill Garen is officially named the GM of the U.S. Olympic team. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Not
probably a good idea.
Probably a good idea. I do want to say this is a ballsy move by U.S. Hockey by picking Bill Garen straight after letting Stan Bowman go for a sexual assault allegation when Bill Garen's in the midst of settling or just finished settling that one with Pittsburgh. Not saying that he doesn't deserve it as a GM. He's a very smart GM. I think he's a very smart man. He knows hockey. Probably not the smartest move PR standpoint to name Bill Garen.
From that standpoint. Sure.
Absolutely.
You gotta think somebody
this is probably a free win they could have had by picking someone else. But I do get they want to win as well. It's such a scenario. If you're going to hold Bowman to that standpoint, you should probably hold Bill Garen, even though it's a different situation. It wasn't swept under the rug for 10 years. Then again, it was. It's just kind of a weird choice that might get a lot of backlash. And that's all I kind of want to say about it. I don't want to say I agree, and I don't want to say I disagree, because I don't with both. So let's just move on with that, but probably a good hockey choice, let's put it that way. Maybe not a good person choice. To Team Canada, we're going to talk about the World Juniors as Connor Bedard becomes the 8th player all time to make Team Canada as a 16-year-old. He joins the likes of Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby, Jay Bouwmeester, Jason Spezza, Eric Lindros, and Wayne Gretzky. It's a pretty decent list.
Pretty sauce. Not impressed.
Not impressed, hey? If you don't know who Connor Bedard is, he is the consensus number 1 pick for the 2023 draft. So, not this one, but the following. He looks pretty good.
With the Patties. Yeah, I gotta go watch him.
I'm so excited
if we can get tickets.
Yeah, absolutely. We should go
to those
scout
Pats
out
games.
some Pats games and go see Connor Bedard. I'd love that. Go scout him. Let's go with that and some like Winnipeg Ice games, because those two teams are legit.
Yeah, the Winnipeg Ice.
We got that Connor Geeky, Matthew Savoy, Carson Lambos, like some real good young hockey players on that team. Mm-hmm. So we'll have to go do that.
It's nice it's nice that Winnipeg actually has a team.
Yeah.
Instead of not having a team, man. Yeah, perfect place for that. It sucks at Kootenay. Like Kootenay Ice, that was like a best name.
Yeah, man. But do you guys? What are you guys' thoughts on you guys going to be watching the World Juniors?
Well, yeah.
Absolutely. Hey.
Tradition. Have to.
Oh, I'm so excited for it. Like, I'm just as, if not more excited for the World Juniors than the Olympics.
Because the World Juniors is definitely happening, probably.
Yeah, that's true.
About the World Juniors.
Yeah, that's true.
I think we should just
pump the brakes on the Olympics.
Yeah, let's just do the World Cup. I feel a little bit more safer about that actually happening, but whatever. Yeah, no.
Will
so
that happen?
World Junior,
like, is that legit something that's gonna potentially happen?
They should have done it before. Like the last time we were dealing with this crap, when we did that last World Cup, we should have said, "Yep, that's what we're doing from now on." After they seen the checks that came through after that, they made so much money.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like the fact that people are money hungry and, like, not actually using the Olympics, but like the NFL hasn't been part of the Olympics ever, so like. I don't think it's that big a deal, and if it actually helps the NHL, as in like makes us money, like why are we not doing this? Like,
I get
the Olympics
that,
is cool and all, but like we could just fake.
It's
Olympics
the appeal of the Olympics is so much because it's a country riding on it, less than a hockey country riding on it. Like when you compete in the Olympics as a hockey team, even people in Canada who hate hockey are on your team and rooting for you every single time, and are at least maybe not following it close, but know what's going on. It's a thing, right? The World Cup of hockey is definitely very more secluded, and that's why I think the issue at the NHL is in actually the reason branching.
I think we should leave the Olympics because it's only one gold medal. Like, it's pointless. It doesn't actually help anybody's Winter Olympics in any way, shape, or form.
Appeal.
I actually heard about them looking into like doing 3-on-3s and what other things that they can do in hockey to create more medals and stuff like that. Yeah. It's just like, Jesus, like, just stop.
I don't care about.
Let's just do this medal. Where we actually want to do this, where we know it's actually going to work all the time, and we won't have to worry about anything political and all that crap going on. So I don't know. I love the Olympics. I know what you're saying, man.
Yeah, it's the appeal. It's the aesthetic appeal. It's the history. This is me kind of sounding old and wanting history to stay. But like,
I fully agree, dog.
I just love the Olympics. Like, who doesn't?
Mm-hmm.
The
World Cup is better.
Yeah, I guess.
But
maybe, but not as a fan. I
would not want to be getting ready like Denmark or any of these random teams.
Yeah. I hate that they did the Team Europe and stuff like that. It was cool for 1 year. Really? It was cool for 1 year. I don't want to see it again. I don't want to see it again. I want to see individual countries battling for their country. I don't want to see, we're all Europe, because like, how weird is it that if we look at, let's say hockey was like a prime sport in only like Russia and Sweden and not North America, and they're like, we're Team United Canada, and it's US and Canada. How stupid and pissed off would you kind of be? Like, you'd be like, oh cool, Matthews, McDavid gets to play together, but I don't want to share this with the US. Like, I'm sure it's the same with Europe.
Yeah, the whole North America thing.
Yeah, like it was cool. For sure. I get it. It was a fun appeal at the time. It drew in new fans at the time. I don't want to see it
could
again.
Definitely be formatted differently for sure.
I'd prefer the Sweden, Finland, Denmark, Russia.
I like it for the Olympics because we're at the point where like we can only really make like 6-7 super good like country teams. So like we might as well just only use those few instead of bringing your Norways along and stuff like that.
Seeing those,
that was a big problem. Was that like, why nobody wants to watch these games, even though I'm there 100% watching.
I've watched
Norway
all
random
of them.
Games.
Yeah, I love those. Seeing people upset players, the potential of an upset, like.
It's so much
more appealing.
World Junior, man. World Junior. So I love this World Juniors because anybody can win this shit now. And it's awesome. Like, I know you got your highly touted.
Canada's always number one. US is 2, and like we're always going to be in a similar spot.
Random projection now. Like nowadays, like with the World Juniors, like
it's a lot closer.
Past, like if somebody's like really good, like super good player coming up, and he's on the Czech Republic team, well, they might win because he's that good, and that's just how it is,
Absolutely, which is cool. Which I like to see that. It's just the authenticity of it. Maybe I prefer over just the World Cup of Hockey. I like that if they did it exactly like the Olympics and made it feel similar to the Olympics for the World Cup of Hockey, I'd be game. If it was like Finland versus Russia. And then Sweden, Canada, US. I'm totally game for that. I'm just not game for the Team North America and Team Europe.
See, like, and that's why I'm with it, because it's like, exactly, we could do it whichever way we want to do it.
I just don't like it
we won't
based
have to worry
on
about the IOC being just.
There's no point on doing it. You might as well just do a authentic All-Star game then. That's all. You might as well, if you're just gonna combine teams, just do a longer All-Star week where you invite more people and have different tournament-based games.
Yeah,
that's all it is. Then don't involve countries. Don't involve countries. Just do it like you used to do, like a draft of some sort if you want to do, or like just names out of a hat, divisions. I don't care. If you're gonna change it that much from nationalities, just do an All-Star game for 3 weeks.
I love the actual competitiveness of that Europe and North America. That was epic.
Yeah, like the hockey was good. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying I don't like you're just doing an all-star game, this all-star tournament that isn't an all-star, called all-star tournament. So might as well just call it that, is where my mind goes. But that's just me seeing familiarity with all nations fighting for their nations. It's just more appealing personally. So let's move into some final hockey news. Actually, how much time do we got left? We got time. Let's do the West that we didn't end up getting to do last podcast because Jordan wasn't feeling good. So we'll just do our 10 seconds from each team in the West. Just talk about how they've done this season, and actually, do you guys have anything else to add before I do this? And then we'll close the podcast out after this.
I could bring up my good and / not good preseason prediction thing.
Yep, sure. Bring those up first. Let's bring those up quick. Okay. And then we'll do the West, then we'll close out this podcast.
Okay, I'll rip this up pretty quick. I'm just going to go back to my preseason prediction on the Rocket Richard, where I took Pasta. Right now, not looking too good. He's only on pace for like 30 goals this year, but not really giving up on him yet, as they haven't played too many games. And like I like to say, you got the Christmas break, and hopefully the Olympics really boost this guy. I think the Olympics might have a lot to do with him getting back on track. But mine
wasn't much better. I had Mikko Rantanen, who's not far. He's 12, tied for 20th, but still.
Yeah, it looks real bad right now because that's just the start of the season. People like to score way more goals than they will all season. But
I should have had Chris Kreider.
No doubt. Pasta, I think he'll. All we got to see is this nice
very safe Jordan
line to start clicking and stuff like that. I'm sure they'll get going, and I kind of feel like if they have so many games in such a small time, if they're clicking,
that's bad.
I feel like they might be able to go on like quite the tear because they're just playing every second day, and it'll just.
They better hope so, because they're gonna be so exhausted that month.
Yeah,
I feel awful for the Bruins, which it rarely happens and says a lot. But that's such a shitty schedule. Come on. Couldn't have taken 4 of those games and placed them between the 2 weeks off they've had?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I believe our Jordan, you picked Ovi, didn't you?
You did.
Yes, sir.
Oh boy, well, gloat. Give me a fucking.
Oh, I know. I'm happy.
Let's go.
I hope Chris Kreider passes Ovi.
For once, the bias seems smart.
Yeah, I agree with that. I picked Elvis Merzlikins, and if Columbus makes playoffs, sneaky Vezina.
No doubt, hey. Yeah, he is playing unreal, hey.
So
what do we got for goals real quick?
We got a bit of Draisaitl in first and at 23, Ovi second with 20, Matthews and Kyle Connor tied for third with 18, and then Mangiapane, Kreider, and Terry tied for fifth with 17.
Nice. And McD, Aho, Gensel right underneath there.
Cheeky little Gensel coming out for your Ovi there. Okay. Watch it there.
Now I will swing her over to some random breakout players I had. I'll start with Mr. Oliver Wallstrom. You got a couple apples against the Preds. That is now his third on the year, which was
And his other two were in the same game, I think, weren't they?
Yeah, he got 2 assists in that game, and the assist that he got before that was his first one, the game 2 days before that. So
yeah,
finally got some apples here. I was projecting 50 points, about 20-25 goals. And he's on pace right now for 30. So that's funny because he's actually
but like 5 assists,
been scoring goals
with like 6 assists with it.
Yeah, 30 goals and a 41-point pace.
That's insane.
So that'll even out a little bit. But I do obviously after this, like Islanders have been quite wretched at the start of the year when it comes to
got their first win at home.
Consistent offensive. Yeah, exactly. They got their first win at home. So not fun when you're saying that in December, but I do still see this guy actually getting 50. So if he's kicking around in your leagues or something, maybe he's a not bad ad for the second half if this team starts like heating up. Wait for the team to start like consistently scoring though.
Parise got his first.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he did. Nice. The next guy I'll bring up is Mr. Taylor Radish. He is starting to play and he's actually
performing well. He's really good, and I can't believe he hasn't played all year.
Yeah, he's having trouble at the start of the year just getting his feet underneath him and fitting in there. I don't know what was going on. A lot of their young guys didn't just step in and
send him to Edmonton. Have him play with McDavid again. Send DeBrincat to Edmonton too. Bring that line back. DeBrincat, McDavid, and Radish.
Definitely a guy expected more out of this year.
Well, I got a worse one from Tampa.
Starting to show for sure. 3 goals and an assist in the last 4 games. Played 18 minutes against Toronto in that super good, what was that, 3-2 game?
Yeah.
So that obviously means something after averaging 11 to 12 minutes all year, like dog.
Well, they're super injured. They're also super injured.
Yeah, they're super injured, but even like every other game, he was nowhere close to 18.
No, I know what you're saying.
Like that. So like playing good, just like Kapanen was there, just played like 17 minutes, looked like fire last game. So that's good to see. Look for Radish to keep it up. Probably only make him better when boys start coming back, honestly. And he gets pushed down in the lineup or plays on a good line. On a top line with a point or something weird.
Yeah, no, I from Tampa, I'm just gonna squeeze in mine real quick here because I remember I've got I had Bear Boulet breaking out. That is definitely not looking great.
Yeah, they had to give him to
Seattle for a game. Try to boost him. Yeah, and then he's been okay, like he's getting games here and there, but like, not a great call. But
once again, just didn't really he started off not great. Like this is another guy that maybe comes out of the weeds here and has a great second half, but at least at
the minute
Radish,
I'll take the foot in my mouth.
Now, but, hey, I'll take the foot in the mouth on my next one here though. It's like, oh boy,
I know exactly where you're going.
Jesus Christ, hey, I feel unbelievably bad about this.
I feel so much better about my thoughts about prospects after hearing this when you made me second everybody else.
No, it's just so bad. So eat my words here, but Philip Hollander didn't even get called up during this whole time.
Didn't even play a preseason game in camp.
Hell, man?
He was one of the early cut from camp.
So yikes on that call, Chase. Wowie, bud. Oh boy. But he's got 6 points in 17 games in the AHL.
He's not bad. He's a good player. He's a good two-way forward. You made me second guess my prospect knowledge, especially about my own team, because I was I don't think he's ready at all. I think it's crazy you did. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, well, I've seen crazier stuff. Hoglander wasn't supposed to make Vancouver, and started thinking maybe he is better. But no,
I thought there was more of a reason that they traded for him back. They just
I think you looked too much into that.
A reason to getting him, and
there was a reason. They brought back a prospect that they already knew enough about, so they weren't gambling with trading him back. The only reason they traded him away was to get Kapanen, and I would do that trade over again to get Kapanen. So
yeah, it's funny that they ended up getting both of those guys back. And that was
Yeah.
the other thing, is that like they're getting a guy that they know back. So it was like, well, this is just like the reason they got Kapanen, you know, like we
Right.
think we can actually play this guy. Like, let's look at Sullivan. Like he'll actually play players that he like has confidence in. Like you don't have to be an amazing player. So
you do the right things for him, and
job.
he'll trust you more than or as much as he trusts Sid.
Yeah. So obviously, Hollander didn't tickle any of Mikey's fancies. So
No, definitely not. That's he's not even our best prospect, though. Like
no, definitely not.
Not even. He's probably like our third.
I thought he'd be like at least a good plugger to have like in the lineup, and as in like not even in the lineup, but on the team. Like,
we still have 3 top 6 guys out right now, so there's still time. He can still definitely make some games, but I think he might make some games late in the season, but it won't be like a full season of like, yeah, this guy's legit ready. And
yeah, the guy's 21, so yeah, jumped the gun a little bit on that.
Just a little.
For sure. He's also listed as a center, so he must be playing center down there. So if he's actually wanting to be a center and they want to groom him into a center,
I would prefer him to be a center.
He's a replacement for what's his nuts, Carter. So maybe that's what they're going for. So he's got 2 years, 3 years or something. So
that would be super dope.
High on crack over here, everybody.
Yeah. I got another name too. I got another 2 names kind of to mention. One is more of an unfortunate reasoning why it's not working, because he started off well, and one, he just didn't make the team apparently. Both in Arizona, both defensemen, Connor Timmons and Victor Soderstrom I had. Yikes with Soderstrom, as I thought he was going to make a jump this year and play some games with that depleted defense, with how highly they tout him, and I'm pretty sure it was like 11th
9
overall.
Games.
Yeah, 11th overall pick.
Gave him his 9 games and threw him back.
So that was an L, but Connor Timmons, that's another L, not by me though. He was doing real good for them, but got injured, and he's out for a while. Jordan, do you remember how long he's out? Because I remember you listed how long, but I can't remember it.
I believe it's the season.
Yeah, so yikes. That sucks, because I feel like I definitely nailed it with him this year. It was going to have a good year.
Yeah, he was playing wicked.
Like 23, ready to
lots of chances.
Lots of minutes, doing well, and then boom, out. So that one's just super tough.
Now that you bring up the Zona defense, like, let's be serious about how good those young guys are playing. They've got guys like Dyson Mayo, Kyle Capobianco. Like, he's been
we've been waiting for him to finally make this team as a third-round pick. And
they have missed on these younger guys, because I'm with you on the Timmons and Soderstrom. I thought they'd definitely play this year, but with guys like those guys are like 23, 24-ish, a lot older, so a lot more ready to actually play some minutes, and they've actually taken like that Kyle Capobianco actually got like quite a few points in the last
he's pretty good.
Had a good stretch. So
his plus minus won't be when Vejmelka keeps giving the puck free gifts.
Cam Deneen, Dyson Mayo, like those guys are actually pretty good prospects, and they've been around for a while. So I wonder how their careers kind of go from here, honestly, because they've been around for a bit and they've been good. So, and they're looking good, real good right now.
Guess we'll have to find out and see. Do you have any more names?
Nah.
Jordan,
Buddy and Eric Robinson played against each other.
Oh yeah,
Blue Jackets game. Yeah, Buddy and Eric.
Nice. Jordan, did you have any names that you kind of want to talk about how you put your foot in your mouth with some predictions? That you can
the only
remember.
one I can think of is a bit of Jack Roslovic. I definitely touted him to be doing a lot better than he has been.
Yeah, surprisingly, because he's been one of the few guys on this team that's kind of struggled.
Well, I guess, is it just points struggling? Like, is he just doing everything else?
I think it's points struggling more or less, because it's only a -1 on a team that is a bubble team.
High scoring, pretty high scoring.
Yeah, pretty high scoring. Like, I think it's just scoring wise, because like he scored 34 points in 48 games last year, and like 12 and 25 is pretty good still, but
I guess the idea was like, I'm sure Jordan thought this as well, but I thought he'd be playing top line with Voracek. So.
With Line A and like someone or Voracek.
Yeah, no, he's playing like third line because Cole Sillinger is better than him.
Apparently. Yeah, and that's the issue, that this 18-year-old that came out of nowhere is just the best. Like, I love
just
Cole.
A well-rounded forward.
He's just he's so good for them. Like, he does everything for them. I love it. But cool. I like that we can kind of look back at some of our very hot takes and be.
And they're on fire.
They're very on fire.
Bad fire.
Some of them though are pretty. We did pretty good on. I will say that. But let's get into.
Yeah, Jordan Kyrou. Oh, buddy, you watching that kid? Oh.
Yeah, that's a name. Kapanen is one too.
Oh,
He's been legit. So, couple names, love it. Now let's get into our Western Conference, and then we'll close out this podcast. So I'm just gonna start. We'll go Chase, Jordan, and me, and just what your thoughts are based on this point in the season. So, are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's start in the Central. Chase, Arizona Coyotes.
Yeah. I guess basically what I said about those young defenses, probably like the one thing I actually like about this team is that Dyson Mayo and that Kyle Capobianco and that Cam Dineen. It's nice to see those guys playing good. Like they've looked a lot better in the last several weeks, which is all right for Arizona at minus 53 differential.
Nice. Yeah, Jordan.
Textbook rebuild. They're doing the rebuild and they're doing it great.
Jay Beagle, Roussel, and Louis Eriksson are some of their highest point getters.
Putting on a show.
The rebuild direction is firmly in place. Let's move to the next team.
Mind blowing, like really.
Oh, Louis Eriksson, I'm pretty sure is up there.
Okay, so it's Keller at 17. Ghost is lighting it up at 17. Kessel 15.
Okay, maybe not
Ross
that
Gross,
good
11.
lately.
Travis Boyd, 10
up
points.
There, love that.
Rounding out the top 5, and then Chikrin, Capo, Bianco, Johan Larson, Fisher.
It's the past couple games; those 3 guys have each scored. I know.
Oh yeah, they got all their 4 points the last 2 weeks. That doesn't surprise me.
No. Not all their 4 points in this week, but like they each scored in the past game and won a game or something. So
that's what you need.
Doing more no EL apparently.
They're not there to win them games. Just that odd game. Gotta win the odd game
for sure. Let's move on. Chicago Blackhawks. Chase.
Good old Zona. Love Zona. Hey, the Blackhawks. I still believe in their second half, and the reason I do is because of like the last little bit hasn't been too great, but they had a good middle portion there after their horrendous start where they look like a team, and I think they can maybe figure things out, but I guess we'll see what goes on with Fleury and stuff like that, and if they kind of choose the give up route.
Yeah, absolutely. Jordan.
I have a new favorite Chicago player, Brandon Hagel.
You took it out of my. I'm just gonna say mine really quick. He has more goals, Brandon Hagel, than Dylan Strome and Jonathan Taves combined.
Yeah, but they don't seem to want to play Dylan Strome and like.
Okay, I got a better name. Brandon Hagel has more goals than Patrick Kane right now.
My God!
Wow!
So, anyways, Jordan, go on with the bagel.
Yeah, just this guy does so much. He puts in work every single shift. And that's something I really love about him.
I love Hagel. He's so dope. Super, super dope. I'm just going to leave it at that because...
I'll add one thing to Chicago, and it's a missing poster for Dominic Kubalik.
Yeah, that's true. That's a name I didn't bring up. And Kirby Dack. Ooh, that's a name I definitely brought up to break out. Yikes. He doesn't look good right now. I'm just going to flat out say he does not look good right now. He doesn't look like he's trying half the time. It's not looking great this season with him or for anyone except for the bagel. So I think we'll move on. Let's move on to just a highest scoring team I've ever seen in my life. Colorado Avalanche, Chase.
Just impressed me every flipping game. I'm so mad. Like, what the hell? I was so mad at everybody for picking this team as a cup winner at the start of the year because they're just blind. This is the greatest team on earth, greatest team. Like, yeah, I understand that they're good and all that sort of stuff, but
now it's in your head too.
It's mind blowing what they've been doing with this team. Like, it's actually crazy. Like, take anybody out of the lineup and they'll figure it out. It's insane. Like, it's like there's going to be some sort of weird series of events is why they won't win the cup.
Yeah. It'll be a fluke why they lose again. Or not again, I guess. But the Dallas way was probably more fluky how they lost. But Jordan. Or Colorado.
I'm surprisingly impressed with the addition of Tony DeAngelo.
This is Colorado, not Carolina.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said Carolina.
No, Colorado.
Colorado. I've been impressed with their ability to juggle their goalies because they've been dealing with a lot of small injuries that have taken their goalies out for weeks at a time.
Yeah, what's his name who's been I've seen them play, I think Miska's played this year a game or so. Yeah. Who else played?
That Jonas Johansson just got claimed by Florida or something.
That's where he went. I was looking for him. I was looking for where he went because he played a few games.
Just terrible for them.
Yeah,
God,
he was bad.
That Colorado team. That's
well, not like it didn't matter because they have scored a touchdown in their past 3 games.
Wow. That's 6 points or is it 7?
7.
Jesus. With the extra point.
With the extra, everyone.
Add it on.
7 goals in 3 straight games. Cale Makar is the best defenseman in the NHL when he's at the top of his game. I really want to see the Olympics because I'm so excited to see him play on a power play with Crosby, McDavid, and McKinnon. Oh my God, it's dream.
I know it's super young, but man,
don't care. That happened.
Him and Nurse playing together. I want to see it. I don't care.
I trust Cale Makar. If there's last minute of play and I need in any situation, I trust Cale Makar. I do. I think he's that good. He can clear pucks. He's fast enough to get to the puck. If Pittsburgh trusts Letang to do everything, you damn well can trust fucking Cale Makar to do everything. So.
Yeah. And another thing to point out on this Colorado team is their winning percentage is .680, which is like .16 behind Minnesota and ahead of the 2 guys ahead of them. So
that's insane. So just not getting their reps in yet quite in game.
Yeah, 3 games behind and they're
which
behind the guys that are ahead of them. And
unfortunately,
well, we know what's going to happen in those 3 games.
Absolutely.
And those 3 wins would put them in first.
Yeah. Let's move on, though, off of just we know how good Colorado is. Don't think we need to say too much more. Let's go Dallas, Chase.
Why do they always do this? They're always either showing one great team or they're just like, we're just not going to.
They're 2 teams.
Be that great. Yeah, so
they're the Dallas Stars and the shitty Stars.
Yeah, right now I'm a little worried, but it's just because they lost 3 games in a row and they won 7 before that. So I guess they're the new Flyers or something. Like they're just gonna go on streaks all the time. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, streaky. Jordan.
Yeah, I've been uncertain with this team, and that just stays. That's the best word I can describe Dallas with is just uncertainty.
I've got
the only thing that seems certain in my mind is Holtby.
Yeah. One thing I'll say is these are 2 different teams, but I can talk about them with one phrase. One line team. With Boston. Them in Boston. Sorry I should have mentioned Boston first. But they're a one-line team, Dallas, that defensively and stuff, they're going to be fine no matter what. They only score when Hintz, Pavelski, and Robertson are playing their best offensive hockey. It's the only time they create. That's the only time they create anything. The other guys will. Yep. The bottom 9 will score as well here and there, but it's not going to be a lot. And if one of them doesn't at least get a point, you're going to struggle that game to win. So, I got nothing else on Dallas. Just I want to see more offense. That's what they need. They need to show more offense for me to think they're legit. But Chase, Minnesota Wild.
Call them the Lightning now or something. Get
Lightning in a bottle.
There, guys.
That's for damn sure.
Yeah, 10-2 at home is what I'll say.
Wow. That is insane. Jordan.
One word. Legit.
Yeah, this team is legit. I 100% agree with that. And since you guys basically took the words out of my mouth saying that they're, I say all this stuff, they've been number one, probably more than any other team this year, for length of days or time or whatever. They always show up. They're the most exciting offensive team right now. And Ryan Hartman is the best second line center in the world right now. So
playing first line, bud.
First line, sorry.
Whatever. I guess it doesn't matter.
I count Erickson. Yeah, Erickson X like their number one guy to me. So I always say it that way. But no, absolutely. The team is so good. So good.
Ridiculous. I wonder if they slow down a little bit. Like, God, do they play high scoring games?
Maybe a little, but it's not going to be much.
One thing I can say is that last time we did this, I believe I was worried about the fact that their goals for and goals against, as in their differential, was pretty much even. Mm-hmm. That is now plus 24.
Yeah, so fixed exactly what the issue was.
Yep, fixed my one issue. So, yeah, they're going to make the playoffs, and they're probably going to win the first round.
Honestly.
Like, even if they slow down, and like I think I have them projected to finish third in the division, like 7th overall or something dumb in the league.
I think there's two teams in the West that can beat them, and that's it, in a playoff series. Well, maybe 3. I will concede Vegas in there if they're fully healthy, but if they're not, then probably not. But I think Calgary and Colorado are the only 2 teams that could maybe beat Minnesota. Calgary because they're so stubborn defensively, and Colorado because they'll score more somehow.
Yeah, like I got them right now finishing and playing against the Jets. That would be not the matchup they'd probably want off the start, but that's a good challenging matchup off the start, you know? Oh yeah?
I think they could beat the Jets.
I'm not gonna say anything yet because I think
I don't think it would be like I don't think it would be like a 4-0 Winnipeg or Minnesota blowout. But I think 6-7 games Minnesota could take the Jets.
But as I've said in past, like when you play somebody really good in the first round, that means you have a chance for the cup because you want to play somebody who you almost shouldn't beat, or it should go either way basically.
Yeah, get you momentum.
If you pull those out,
get your goalie hot. So absolutely, but let's move on to the next team before we take too long on Minnesota. Chase, Nashville Predators.
Oh, man, like should I start going back to my Nashville ways? God, I used to love this team. 5 wins in a row. Yeah, maybe we'll have to do a rain check on this next time we do this. I hope they aren't here next time we talk because like I said, used to be a huge fan of this team, and it's crazy that they're just won't stop. Saros has been just unbelievable.
Saros is legit. Yeah, for sure. Jordan.
Exactly what I was about to say.
I figured that was where you were going.
I'm a huge fan of UC Saros, and this season he's been showing, again, why he's a number one.
Top 5. Is he a top 5 goalie in the NHL? Saros.
I would say, yeah.
There's a lot of that's very because like what are your top 3? Probably Vasilevsky, Hellebuck, Gibson at the top of their game.
Yeah, well, I guess
maybe Shesterkin in there, and
just because he's been so light.
Saros, but I don't know. Pretty crazy how good they are. I'm gonna just bring up Roman Josi. They have a top 5, if not top 10 goalie in the NHL, and they have a top 3 defenseman in the NHL. Yeah. I know I just said Cale Makar is the best defenseman in the NHL, and he is at the top of his game, but consistently Roman Josi is the best. He's always fantastic. Always.
He's literally going to make up for not having an NHL goalie in the Olympics.
He's literally makes up this team's offense himself. Josi. Like he leads them in points damn near every year. And this year they're actually getting offense from some guys. So promising. That's why they're winning. They've always had good defense, always had solid goaltending. They finally are starting to get a little bit of offense. But
point per game, 27 points, 28 games, Yossi.
Yeah, man. So good. Let's move on, though, to the St. Louis Blues, Chase.
St. Louis Blues. Love them. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. I think we'll just keep motoring
They're
along.
just good.
Like
They'll just keep going.
I like this team.
Yeah.
You know?
They're like the old Boston, I guess. Like Boston a couple years ago, they just keep trucking. They don't stop. They're always consistent.
Always tip the hat to old Doug Armstrong for just knowing how to be a GM.
For sure. Jordan.
Yeah, honestly, I think that would be mine as well. Is props to Doug Armstrong as for what he's done, right? I believe he's also the president of hockey, whatever they call that bullshit.
Yeah, and
he's done a fantastic job. It's not like St. Louis is a massive market, but he's brought in the right players to fit this team.
Yeah, like he's not scared to like when a guy's to bring a guy up. He's like, "Hey, your role this year is this. Like, I need you to step up there." And he knows that guy's had enough time, like a Kyrou and a Thomas, to be able to be impactful in the role. And even if they aren't, they have that other option in like a Sod or whoever that can maybe step up to that top six for a period of time until that guy gets going and stuff. Like, he's super good with those types of dynamics, and it's why
he's got a formula and he knows how to build it.
Yeah, makes me very confident knowing that he's Team Canada's if we go to the Olympics. So
I want to say his mentality is like, if you're a GM and you're not worried about several players and how they're going to perform going into the year because you're kind of putting weight on their shoulders that they've never had, you're not doing this right.
Yeah,
because he does it every year and it works every year.
Yeah,
like what happened with Dusnevich, like they were kind of trying to give him that top six. They wanted him to be epic in the Rangerland, and it kind of like, we're not really sure now. So they're like, okay, well, we have to make a cap move anyways. Moved him to St. Louis, and he is that guy. He's a number one line on that team. Like that's done. Done for like probably the next 3 years, 4 years. He's probably going to be hard to get off that top line with Robert Eiley or something, you know.
Yeah, no, I want to credit Berube. You guys are talking about how well this team is put together. Let's talk about how well it's been coached together. It's integrated brilliantly, like you guys have talked about. And I think Berube has been the case for that. Look how well, like you mentioned, Buchnevich coming in, Kyrou stepping up, all these Thomas stepping up, like all these other guys, young guys, whether it's coming in off free agency, like Sod, they're just gelling. Yeah,
Oscar Sundqvist was a big reason why he's even playing and doing and being good in any way, shape, or form. It's all because of Berube. From what I heard, he just pulled him out of the weeds, trusted him, and that player plays with confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. They're just a solid team all around. I would like their defense to be a bit better here and there, but other than that, I think
can't complain with how Falk's been playing, and he's
no. I'm not
a lot better, but no, I feel you, man.
Just an extra guy. They're probably missing one top four D man. So, but let's move on to Canada and Winnipeg Jets. Chase.
Winnipeg. They need to do something with their bottom forwards. Like I need a little bit more excitement out of the bottom six. If I get a little bit more excitement out of that, I think this team's a lot better.
Yeah, losing Appleton and having to force Kopp higher in the lineup is really hurting that bottom six. Jordan?
What has happened this season to what's his fucking name? Mark Scheifele. Scheifele has not looked very good this season, at least not the Mark Scheifele we've known.
Yeah, he just started going, like literally. Exactly, man.
Recently, It like the Leafs game, is that probably the turning point, I would say, where they beat them 6-13?
There was like a game or two before that he kind of started showing life, and then he started getting points again. But that has only been the last few weeks, and I have him on my fantasy team. I feel you, dog. It's been been a little worrisome for a bit there off the start, but
absolutely no. It's this team. There's so much I love about this team. And I brought this up last time. I was a little harsh about it, but I'm going to kind of double down in what I believe with Blake Wheeler. I don't think he's good enough for this top 6 at all. I know he's hurt right now and out for a while, which is kind of, I think is a good thing because they need to fill that spot and they'll need to find it long-term anyways. I just don't think he's got it anymore. He's so irresponsible 5-on-5, and that kind of bleeds into the locker room, it feels like, because some games they just don't show up. And it just reminds, this is a Blake Wheeler team, and I don't love it, if I'm being honest. I think it'll win games, because at the top of their game, it's great. But it's never always at the top of their game, the Jets. They take a lot of time off when they shouldn't, and just don't love that, frankly. I don't want to be too harsh and like single out one guy, I guess, because it's not just Wheeler. Like it takes a team
but it's a
to
problem,
do this.
man.
But
you guys look like the best team in the league, and then you just look like a team.
And then you just give it up.
mediocre.
You're like, who cares? Let him take 3 chances. We got Hellebuck. It's like, you can't think that way. I don't care who's in net. Like, you can't hang them out to dry. And they
like
do
even
that.
when Dallas loses games, they don't look like they're not doing anything at all. They're just not scoring goals.
They're not scoring. Like it's complete difference. Like they just stand there and like float around the ice. Their forwards don't come deep half the time. Like their forwards are defensively lazy a lot. Like Dubois has been a revelation for this team defensively, and he's sometimes a little lazy in his own right. Like
one thing I'd like to point out with this is just Oilers somehow I keep putting them down and down as you're just not Kyle Connor, but like you need to be Kyle Connor, as in like you need to find that consistency, man.
Because he's another good example too of when he's hot, he is outstanding, and they win and dominate. When he plays amazing, they dominate, but when he doesn't, they don't.
Need more consistent efforts out of everybody on that forward squad, man.
Absolutely. But let's move on to our Pacific Division, and let's start with Vegas, Chase.
Turning up the heat, Vegas. Nice to see some guys getting back. Amazing how they've done so far. Wow, I just noticed this. Not one overtime loss. Same with Edmonton.
That's crazy. Crazy,
That's all.
Jordan.
Good Lord, am I excited to see Jack Eichel in
Oh, yes, so am I. This team is going to be so good. I like how they're playing right now, considering the injuries still. They're going to be a playoff team. Like, they're legit. They will be once they're healthy and going. Super pumped. Super, super pumped. But let's move on to Vancouver, Chase. Wow, this would have been way different if we did this last week.
Yeah. Hey, so what's going on here, boys? Are you gonna do? Am I right in my early season predictions, or am I right on the predictions I did right when you fired the coach? Because I believe your team is good enough to be third in this division.
Yep.
Like, I don't know what the hell's going on, so I guess we'll see, right?
Yeah, exactly. Jordan?
I think the big thing is just mentality here.
It seems like it.
It seems like a new energy has just surged into this team.
Which we knew would happen. Like we didn't want to advocate for Green to lose his job. But sometimes just getting rid of the coach, a new voice helps.
The fans were down with it. The players were done with it.
It's nothing against those people half the time, but you just need a new voice, and it's just
didn't work out.
Yeah, need to bleed new light into these guys. So
I think that's positivity, right?
Yeah, and that's what Boudreau is, and I love that. He's exactly the type of guy they needed. I think they're going to be better. Still think. They're not gonna. I think they dug too far of a hole, unfortunately, this season, though. Let's move on.
Hey, whoa! 4 straight wins. It depends on how many straight wins they can get here.
That's fair. That's very fair. I just think that's too good. I think the West is too good. Look, I have Look how good Nashville's doing, and I have them being a bubble team. I think once Dallas and Winnipeg start competing better, It's gonna be tight. It's gonna be tight. There's a chance.
Next game, sorry, for Vancouver is Columbus at home, San Jose on the road, Toronto, and Zona as a back-to-back. So
yeah, that's not.
There's a chance of keeping the run going. If you can squeeze past Toronto that game and
I think
win that back-to-back against Zona.
Toronto should work Vancouver's defense, though. Realistically,
yeah, it's just all. Well, Toronto's kind of maybe heading on the down instead of.
Sure, their defense is really
insanely
hurt.
good. You know,
their defense is really, really hurt right now. They need to add, but no. Let's just let's move on to Seattle. Hey,
so Seattle
Chase
gave up on those guys. It's over, boys.
Yep.
I hope you guys have a great second half. I think you guys can have a great second half and get back going to playing like a team. But yeah, just giving up on these guys. It's kind of sad how unimpressive they are. And like I said in the one pod, can't face adversity. It's not at all.
Not at all. Jordan?
Yeah. I'll be interested to see what trades they make in near the deadline.
Yeah, I want to see what direction they go. That's very clear.
I'd like to know.
I really hope they don't pick it up for their sake, if I'm being honest. They dug themselves too deep. Just keep losing, please. For their own sake, get a high draft pick. Get a top 5 pick at least. I think that's just all you gotta do, frankly, and just ride out the season. Try and get some good vibes. Get some production from your young guys. Go from there, I guess. But let's move on to the San Jose Sharks, Chase.
Love the revitalization that's going on here. Nice to see these guys play good. They were one of the teams that I just yelled and complained at about, like, why aren't you guys just play hockey?
Yeah.
You know, like, not suck. Like, what are you doing? You know, and wow, here we are. You know,
they just look so happy now.
Yeah,
frankly. But no, Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like almost a new team.
Yep. It looks like a new team. It really looks like a brand new team.
Like a brand new team.
I don't know what it like. I do know exactly what it is. I pointed it out all episode. It seems like this team is got potential. I think they should trade away and keep leaning into this rebuild. Keep getting these young guys. One William Eklund isn't enough to revitalize this team to a playoff team for the next 10 years. You need to do a couple more, so sell, please. Get some draft picks, get some assets, rebuild, be the San Jose you used to be. Let's move over to LA, Chase.
You know, disappointing.
A little bit.
Thought they'd. I guess not really. I don't know.
Kinda.
Not sure what to say about this team.
I'd say that.
Really, I'm sad that Cal Peterson just didn't really show up this year yet.
Yeah.
I hope he can find himself, because thought he would be at least a goalie in the NHL, and it just doesn't look like
good last year.
For him this year.
He was really good last year, so it's unfortunate.
Like, I was a little iffy on him on the start of the year, like being like super stupendous, just because I thought Quick would at least play better.
Oh, I didn't.
And wow,
Quick is very bad now. Quick is not.
Quick's been playing good.
I've not been impressed.
He's been their goalie.
Couple of years.
I have not been playing Pedersen at all. So hopefully he can get back to playing some games.
True. Jordan.
I don't know. I'm not sold on this one. I think that's the best thing I can say.
Yeah. I don't know. This team's worse than I thought, but not by much.
Yeah. Like,
I don't love their decor.
Doughty and Kopitar.
Yeah.
Fantastic. But
some of the young guys stepping up, it's just not enough.
Haven't done it, yeah.
It's exactly what I feared Anaheim would do. Actually, if I look at it, I really feared that some of Anaheim's young guys wouldn't show up and it would be their detriment. Well, it turns out that's LA. Like, this was supposed to be a big year. Like, some big guys supposed to come up and like really play and do well. Like, Byfield gets injured. Where is what's his name right now? They're Velarde. Is he even playing much? Like, Haven't heard much out of him at all, if anything. So I don't know. Just kind of disappointing, frankly. Let's move on though to the Edmonton Oilers, Chase.
Yeah, just get yourself a good goalie to play with.
Yeah.
Smith. And then just hang out, see how you do in the playoffs, and
absolutely,
you'll know what you need after that. And I'm sure cups are coming soon. A little bit of a rough spell there, but they've been looking pretty good.
Not too bad. Jordan?
Despite the obvious glaring issue that has been staring them in the face for seasons, I think they've done well at building a team around McDavid that can produce his best as well as produce their best.
Yeah,
indeed.
I want to say I knew a lot of certain players had this in them, but I am shocked this team works. The start of this season, seemed like a lot of weird ass puzzle pieces that wouldn't fit in make the same puzzle, and it works. This defense is actually decent. It's not completely woeful. It needs some help for sure, but everything's just a lot better than I gave it credit for. Derek Ryan is a third line center again, just perfect for this team. I don't know. Just a lot of things kind of went right for this team, and they're going to be a playoff team. Just don't.
Yeah. They just got to work on the normal things that Edmonton has to work on, scoring without McDavid and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, let's move on, though, to the last Canadian team, the Calgary Flames, Chase.
I kind of want this team to start falling apart a little bit. Not like crazy fall apart, but I don't think they're going to be as potent as they have shown in the first 28 games for the rest of the season. I think people will start figuring out how to kind of grind against them and grind through them a little bit. So yeah, I'm a little worried about this team. The one thing I don't like seeing is 6 overtime losses. That's a lot of
that's
a lot of times you had to push the game to overtime to get a point out of it. Wonder how those games would have turned out.
Seems more
how do
that's
those games
the other
turn
way
out,
around
later. Yeah, how does those games turn out in the next part of the season? Are those just straight losses? So I could. That's all I'm worried about there.
Jordan.
You know what? This is definite. They've started the hottest, and it's definitely been my favorite team to watch this season so far.
Yeah.
Seeing Lucic play and actually
he's actually doing stuff is crazy. That's insane. It's like the most surprising thing I've ever seen this season. This team they're gonna be good. My biggest fear, which has always been my biggest fear with this team, is scoring drying up. I'm worried. There's a lot of times in the past we've seen Johnny Gaudreau just decide to, I don't think Daryl Sutter will let him do that, but that's been a glaring issue in the past at times. So
I'm sure if you look at their numbers and project how many points they're going to get at the end of the year, it would be career highs for half of these guys.
Oh, for sure. And
so that might be a big issue as well that I'm not seeing.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing. I think defensively they're going to be fine. Their goaltending is so good and their defense is so annoying in front of them that it's really hard to create anything with this decor by there. So I think they're going to will their way through will their way through anyone because of that. But if they lose, it's going to be the same reason as Dallas. It's because they're not scoring. It's not because they're letting in too much. They're going to have a game or two or here and there where they let in 5 or 6 goals, have a bad defensive game. Everyone has that, but they need to keep consistently scoring or else it's not going to work.
Yeah, I'll put it this way, Lindholm, I know they had off years and stuff, but 81 games, 78 games, or 78 points in the first year, 70 games, 54 points, and then he got 56 and then 47 points. So pretty decent. He is pretty close to that point per game, which is where he's at. Old Matthew Tkachuk, I think this would be his best performance. Oh no, he did get a 77 the one year, the same year that
really
Lindholm.
Good.
So obviously, if the offense is clicking, these guys are going.
Yeah.
But who is the real engine to that? Is the real question? Is it
Tkachuk and Lindholm? You just named the exact two guys that
Tkachuk
are the
and Lindholm, and yeah,
those two drive this team. Gaudreau is great when people create him space. He's
like I said, we're talking best seasons out of like all of these guys.
Absolutely.
Like a Monahan.
Yeah, Monahan's that one's a little bit of a yikes, but no, it's I like this team. I genuinely do. I don't want to like harp on their offense, say they're gonna be bad, but if they're bad, that is exactly why it will be. This is a good team defensively. Let's go into our final team though, Chase, in the Anaheim Ducks.
The Ducks, quack. Let's do it. Hey, love this team. Love watching them. Really, honestly excited to see if these guys can actually make the playoffs. I feel like they're the Western Wings right now. Just lighting it up, showing who they are. They've got good defense. They've got good goaltending, well-rounded forward group and stuff like that. A lot more sound than Detroit. That's why they are actually in first in their division.
Which is crazy.
But yeah, no, it's the only thing I can say, like, your winning percentage is 617, which is like 0.02 ahead of 0.002 ahead of Edmonton.
Right.
So like that's not great. Decent amount of overtime losses. Like, I don't know. There's possibilities of this dropping off, but differential's been good. Like I can't point out too much that's glaringly terrible where it's gonna just completely switch the other way, especially like you were talking about this team, like well-rounded, good team. Like I don't see why they'll just randomly fall apart, but seen weirder things, right?
Yeah, for sure. Jordan?
Is this the best Ducks team we've seen since their cup runs? Because I think it is.
They were so good after those in like the 2010s-ish. They were quite good for a while. I don't know. They were close. Like Getzlaf and Perry were the veterans there. They were quite good. The first year they had Kessler, they were really good that year. Yeah, they definitely went on a lot of runs, and they remind me of San Jose before San Jose a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe not as many cup finals, obviously, or like conference finals, but they're always in the mix. This is the most exciting Ducks team we've seen since 2007. I'll agree with that. Absolutely.
It could be the most skilled. In all reality.
It's probably the most skilled, yeah.
When we're looking at the roster,
that's like talking like Paul Kariya and stuff too with Solani. Like that was pretty skilled then too.
Super decent.
Yeah, super, super decent. But no, this team, like I said, I watched them the other night, and all their defensemen are great, are solid at bare minimum. Hampus Lindholm's really, really good, by the way, too. He's kind of slides under the radar a lot of the time, but he's really good left-handed defenseman. Their goaltending is fantastic, and their offense is clicking right now. They've got a couple guys who drive this team, and it's a lot of young guys just having fun. And sometimes that's just the best formula for success, is just having fun. Everyone's enjoying it and smiling every time they're on the ice, and that's what seems to be with Anaheim. They're always happy with each other, and they love their team. They seem like such a close team, which I like as well.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how these guys react to, like, we're already getting there, but it's just once these teams are just bearing down a little bit more, you're gonna get these guys coming 100 miles an hour at you pretty soon, and if not already. So they've been up to the challenge so far. So.
Absolutely. If their young guys don't slow down, they're gonna be so good all year, and could be a problem in the playoffs, if up against the right team. But anyways, that's all we have time for this week's podcast. Do you guys have any final notes?
I have one thing.
One thing. Oh, another breaking news that you predicted, like Malcolm Subban, is it?
No, not quite. Anton Khudobin has cleared waivers.
Oh, he cleared waivers. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I
not
didn't
surprising.
think Yeah, exactly. Hey.
This is a very beneficial for a team to trade for him now, though, because he's already cleared waivers. If you can get him 50% retained somehow and have him as a third goalie, that's a fantastic third goalie you can call up and down. So that'd be super cool. But no, that's finally it. That's it for this podcast. We'll catch you guys next week. The times may be changing for our podcast. We're going to work that out soon. So just be on the lookout for if it's not on the set days, it's going to be moved around a little bit. So it's stretched more in between. But anyways, go follow us on social medias, on Twitter, Instagram, and on YouTube at The Couch on Ice. And that's all I got for you guys. Have a good week.